One of these waves is the same weight as 2 locomotive engines, one wave. And these guys get these waves every 4 to 8 seconds. And the night of this November 10th, 1975, it's the storm of a century. They got 100-mile-per-hour winds. That's hurricane force at that point. The waves were 30 feet regularly, which is still pretty intense. This ship only has 11 feet out of the water. So 30 feet means you're underwater 20 feet. Every time this happens, every 4 to 8 seconds. That takes a toll. But then we now know from computer models that if you saw that many 30-footers, you saw 10 40-footers, you saw 3 or 4 50-footers, and you saw 1 or 2 60-footers. And as one of the experts told me, this ship ended up in exactly the wrong place at exactly the wrong time. And it was the only ship in that 1 hour area, basically.
This is the MeatEater podcast coming at you shirtless, severely bug-bitten, and in my case, underwearless.
We hunt the MeatEater podcast.
You can't predict anything.
Brought to you by First Light. When I'm hunting, I need gear that won't quit. First Light builds no compromise gear that keeps me in the field longer. No shortcuts, just gear that works. Check it out at firstlight.com. That's FIRSTLITE.com. Okay, I got 2 competing ways I want to start the show. One, I just have to admit that I'm so excited I already wet my pants.
There's one.
This is one of the most exciting conversations for me, because this is something that I like. I'll just come out and say it. We're here to talk about the Edmund Fitzgerald, which is like weird. Like I was 1 year old, but when it happened, but it's sort of, I don't know, man, has haunted and inspired my whole life, being from that neck of the woods.
Sure.
The second opening I was going to use is how I've never done this before, but I want to dedicate this episode to Drost, Fitz, Poot Magoot, my brother Danny. This one's for you. And everyone at the porthole in Sault Ste. Marie, Michigan side.
Been there. You guys probably don't know this. There are 2 towns called Sault Ste. Marie right across the river from each other, because why wouldn't you do that, right? Yeah. One's U.S., one's Canada. Canada produces NHL Hall of Famers, the Esposito brothers, Tony and Phil, et cetera, et cetera. Gretzky played there for a while. The American side produces guys like us.
When I went to, one of the times I saw Uncle Gord was at the hockey arena in Sioux, Ontario.
Oh, wow.
Mm-hmm.
I've been to that. It's where the Greyhounds play.
I'll introduce you in a minute. Don't worry.
We'll get to that.
I tell the story every other episode. We're sitting there and we're watching Uncle Gord. You know, I'm talking about Gordon Lightfoot.
Mm-hmm.
And he's doing his show. He's got a lot of hits. People don't realize how many hits the man has.
Oh, yeah, they're in the book.
Yeah. But then later in the later in the concert, this will kind of date it, because your book, The Gales of November, The Untold Story of the Edmund Fitzgerald by John U. Bacon. Should you want to find out what the U stands for, good luck. Not Ulysses.
He's very tight-lipped about it.
At the 50th, we're at the 50th anniversary of the sinking or the wreck of the Edmund Fitzgerald. And your book's perfectly timed. I read that you wrote a proposal for this book decades ago or something.
I did. 20 years ago, pitched it to my agent. He said no. So I got a new agent.
As one does.
Don't
get
take
the
no for an
answer you want.
That's right.
I was struggling with that professionally this morning.
Just this very morning.
Anyhow, at that time, I can't remember what year it was. It would have been around 94, 95.
Okay, you're about 20.
And I remember it gets quiet. Gord comes out. The lights are down. And Gord says, it'll be, he says something to the effect of like, it'll be 20 years this November.
Wow.
Or it'll be blank. And the place just, erupts. Oh, yeah. It erupts. But that's home turf.
That's very much home turf.
Yeah.
Those
you're looking out. you're looking out on we used to fish in Whitefish Bay, and like,
dude,
and when we were out there spearing whitefish, we'd always be talking about, yeah, man, and telling people like that's where.
If you're fishing in Whitefish Bay, Lake Superior is 160 miles by 350 miles. It's as big as the state of Virginia. It's bigger than Ireland. People don't realize this unless you get up there. If you're up there, of course, you can't see across any of the Great Lakes. If you're in the middle of Lake Superior, you can't see either side. And it's not because of the mist or the fog. It's because of the curvature of the earth. It's just too damn big. So there you go. So if you're out there, by the way, you know what you're doing, obviously. And Sault Ste. Marie is where the Soo Locks are. That's the bottleneck of U.S. industry. So all the iron ore, the copper, I know you guys got it here in Butte, the copper, the iron ore, limestone, all comes from the northern part of the Great Lakes, Minnesota, Wisconsin, Upper Peninsula. It's got to go through this one spigot, this very tight widget at the Soo Locks.
Yeah, because Lake Superior falls 23 feet to Lake Huron or something.
Well done, young man. This guy passes the quiz.
Caught many a fish out of those falls.
There you go. Exactly. It's a good place to catch them, actually. So during World War II, they built a new lock because they had to get all the iron and all the steel from up there down to build at Willow Run, where the Ford Motor Company was. If you've seen Ferrari versus Ford, that's what it's all about. They're cranking out one B-24 bomber every hour for 3 years during World War II. So they built a new...
say that again?
One B-24 bomber, which has 1.5 million parts. I looked it up. They're cranking out one per hour, every hour for 3 years. Nonstop. There's Rosie the Riveter, all this stuff.
Almost as fast as they were shooting them down.
Almost as fast, but not quite as fast. And that's how you win the war.
Yeah.
So FDR, during World War II, stationed 7,000 soldiers where you were at the Soo Locks. It was the most guarded position in North America during World War II.
Seriously?
Yes.
Because they were worried about saboteurs?
If they bomb that, there's no steel for the planes. No steel for the planes and the tanks and the shells. We lose the war. And FDR knew that.
But who were they thinking would have been, like, they didn't mean like an aerial bombardment from enemy aircraft.
It's the only way you can get there.
But I would picture like I said, saboteurs, like someone planting explosives or something.
I guess that's possible too. Look, the odds aren't very good. Obviously, they didn't do it, right? So,
but they recognized that it was like.
But if it happens, it's over. We're going to lose.
Sort of the perineum of the world, man.
Perineum. See, these are the things I don't get normally.
That's the name of the episode right there.
I got to stay loose for this one, people. I've done about 30, 40 interviews. We've done
Didn't expect
NPR,
your morning to start
CBS,
like that.
and everything else. Yeah, I gotta widen my strike zone here a little bit. I think.
We should just have a list of words when they're used for the first time in here.
Ding, 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 ding.
I think Istanbul probably is a good is another candidate.
Here's a word that has been used on this show: Hampton Sides. Hampton Sides been on the show a couple times. Here's what Hampton Sides says about the Gales of November. Here is a work of spectral beauty, destined to be a classic. Readers of Sebastian Junger's The Perfect Storm. He's been on the show. Eric Larson's Dead Wake. We should put that on our list of people to get on the show. And Nathaniel Philbrick's In the Heart of the Sea will love this deeply reported tale from our vast inland ocean. With John U. Bacon's graceful and poignant retelling, the saga of the Edmund Fitzgerald now takes its rightful place among the world's greatest legends of shipwrecks and tempestuous.
Tempestuous?
You got it.
Who got it?
You got it. Tempestuous.
Seas. It's from Hampton Sides. There's a bunch of good quotes on the back here. Ken Burns. He's been on the show. John U. Bacon has done it again. This is another riveting narrative that puts facts on a still memorizing legend. But this is more than getting the details right. Bacon has distilled the essence of the story and rendered a huge monument to those lost, and a great gift to the rest of us. Ken Burns, filmmaker. I'm excited to tuck in. I haven't read it. I'll tell you what I did do is I looked at some of the pictures. It's just heartbreaking to see the pictures of the guys. I
really
had weirdly in my life, I realized I've never looked at a picture of anyone that died on that boat.
Stephen, that's exactly why I wrote the book. Wrote the book. I can't get that word right. And people ask me what drove me. Yes, I want to find out what happened, and that's always part of the mystery here, of course. And we advance certain theories and we probably diminish other theories, but I'm not here to close that loop because you really can't. There are no witnesses. All 29 men went down with the ship. Aunt Ruth, who's the mother of Bruce Hudson, Ohio State student who takes a couple summers to get in the lakes. He's a 22-year-old deckhand who goes down with the ship, and that's her only child, which I can't fathom. She had a great line. She said, only 30 know, 29 men and God, and no one's talking. So we're all trying to guess. So what did drive me? And that's what it was. Who were these 29 men? All right. What were their jobs like? What were their lives like? What were their families like at home? I interviewed half the families. They talked for the first time for this. I got 6 crewmen who'd been on the ship, obviously, before it went down. And those are not easy to find. There's no list anywhere. And I got them all to talk. And it's just fascinating how it all works. And I learned in the process. Here's a fun fact for your listeners who would be into this for sure. You talk to Great Lakes sailors. By that, I don't mean the guys with the sails, of course. These are commercial shippers. Copper, like I said, copper, iron, all this stuff. They tell me consistently that sailing on the Great Lakes is more dangerous than sailing on the ocean. And that blew my mind. I grew up on the Great Lakes, so did you. How can that possibly be? And it's a few reasons. One is salt water. Salt water on the ocean, on the Great Lakes. And by the way, do hand gestures work really well on radio? I bet
For some people they do. It depends on how you're listening.
Well, if you got the premium package, you'll get this one. So on the Great Lakes, you got these sharp, pointy waves at the top, like mountain ranges, basically.
Yeah.
On the ocean, the salt smashes those down, so they're nice and smooth. So
Is that right?
Yeah, you get smooth roller coasters, and they're twice as far apart. It spreads them out, and on the ocean, you get these storms from 500 miles away, 1,000 miles away. So by the time the waves get to you, again, you get this gentle roller coaster, still no fun, and you've seen Perfect Storm. But it's manageable. On the Great Lakes, they're sharp and pointy like mountain ranges. They're twice as close together. On the ocean, they're 10 to 16 seconds apart. On the Great Lakes, they're 4 to 8 seconds apart. What does that mean? That means you can have the bow of your ship in one 30-foot wave, nothing in the middle, and your stern in another 30-foot wave. These ships are 700 feet long. And in between, you have 26,000 tons of iron. That's 4,200 adult elephants. It's enough steel, enough iron, sorry, to make 7,000 cars. What happens? It bends down. It sags. Then you go over the next wave, and it hogs. Then it sags, and it hogs, and it sags, and hogs. Bend a paperclip back and forth 10,000 times. That's how many waves you get in a day. What's going to happen? The paperclip's going to snap sooner or later. The Bradley in 1958, I got a chapter on that. We have witnesses. It actually snaps in half between 2 waves.
Really?
The Morel,
I never even thought.
600
I would
feet,
picture that the bow and stern would. I just imagine that the bow and stern would cut in,
into the
and it would
into the
never have
waters.
enough to lift it like a.
It does. These waves are
Lifts the center.
These waves are. Don't mess around with the waves, man. It's part of your answer.
We started out talking about.
Sorry about that tangent. By the way.
No, that's all.
that's
No,
great.
dude, you can do that all day long for all I care. We started out talking about Gordon Lightfoot as kind of like a touch point where many people, like undeniably, many people, when they hear the Edmund Fitzgerald, they know what that means because of the song.
Entirely.
Yeah.
No question.
Do you? I'm always interested in this concept of like there's like an object, right, and then the object has a shadow. Do you know what I mean? Like if the object,
That's good.
like the object is the sinking of the Edmund Fitzgerald, and it's like shadow is like
That's perfect.
Gordon Lightfoot's the wreck of the Edmund Fitzgerald. In all honesty, would we be sitting here right now if it wasn't for that song?
I will say it from the mountaintops. Absolutely not.
Really?
From 1875 to 1975, there are 6,000 commercial shipwrecks on the Great Lakes. That's one per week, every week for a century.
Oh man, really?
30,000 men went down. That's one a day, every day for a century.
Wow.
And how many do we know? We know one. We know the Edmund Fitzgerald for exactly the reason you said.
And LaSalle's the Griffin.
Hey, by the way, you non-Michiganders don't know what he's talking about, but I do.
Well, that was the first ship.
That was the first ship.
The
There you
Griffin
go.
was the first ship on the Great Lakes, and the
Yeah.
Edmund Fitzgerald's the biggest ship to ever sink.
That's exactly right. And at the time, the biggest ship, period, on the lakes. But yeah, without that, there's no way. There's 6,000, we know one. Without the song, there is no book. It's just that simple.
Really? Yeah. What can you explain, you kind of did a little bit, but can you explain that first I got another thing to mention. You're a sports writer.
Yeah, so what am I doing here?
Yeah. So like you've written books on hockey, football.
Yep.
Yeah. Had you is this your first like foray into kind of like deep history where you're not able to meet the people involved? And
It's my second. The previous one was called The Great Halifax Explosion.
oh, that's right. I forgot about
from
that.
1917.
Yeah.
And-
Okay.
I'm sorry, from 2017 is when the book came out. 1917, this ship called the Mont Blanc, World War I, is leaving Gravesend Bay, New York. That's a pretty good name. With 6 million pounds.
Gravesend.
Gravesend. How
Okay,
prophetic, right? It's leaving Gravesend Bay, New York, basically New York, with 6 million pounds of high explosives. That's TNT, not gasoline.
Like hauling high explosives.
Hauling high explosives. High explosives don't need oxygen to blow up. One good bump, and it happens. And it's in Halifax Harbor on the way to World War I to blow up Germans is the idea, I'm sure. And instead, it bumps into another ship. A fire starts. Well, the guys in the Mont Blanc, they know what the hell's going to happen. So they get in the rowboats and get out of there, French crew. The ship slips at 8:45 in the morning. Ghost ship. Slips perfectly into Pier 6 at the base of Halifax. The timing's cruel because the kids are walking to school, everyone's walking to work, and it's burning, so they're all going to come down to watch the burning ship. They have no idea what's on it.
And how long is this after everybody bailed off?
About 15 minutes.
Oh, okay. Very fast.
So pretty fast, yeah. And then at 9:04.35, we know exactly when because all clocks stopped. A 2 mile high mushroom cloud, the first in the world's history, 1/5 the power of the atomic bomb, blows half the city away of 50,000 people. And Oppenheimer, of course, who built the A-bomb, you see the movie Oppenheimer, he talks about this. He's the one who did the math. The only model they had for Hiroshima was this. So this 1/5 the power of the A-bomb. But people in Boston sent 2 ships, 2 trains, 100 doctors, 300 nurses, and $1 million, which back then's a lot of money. And they, of the 9,000 wounded, they saved like 95%, which it should not have happened with the medicine at the time. That's what made the U.S. and Canada allies. And I know this because my mom's Canadian, so trust me. If you want a different version of the War of 1812, give a Canadian 2 beers. And you're going to hear a whole different version of how all that went down. So I'm a hockey guy. I speak from experience here.
Explain.
So that was my first foray. There's a long answer, sorry. That was my first foray into that. That allowed me to write this book. Without that book, the publishers never would have given me money for this book.
Got it.
So that proved I could get off the
Oh,
reservation.
man. I think if you sent, well, whatever, you got it published. I was going to tell you how you would have got it published anyways. Explain the industry that the Edmund Fitzgerald was involved in.
Great question. That's another thing. Dude, again, I grew up in Ann Arbor, Michigan, and not too far from Muskegon. We go up to Traverse City and so on. I've swam in all these lakes. I've sailed on 2 or 3 of them. I thought I knew them. I didn't know anything. 95% of the stuff in that book I had no idea about. And one thing is how incredibly important Great Lakes shipping is. The French voyagers, here's your predecessors here on the MeatEater podcast. These guys were badasses. I can say that in your show, and I can't say that normally, so I'm taking advantage.
No, we might bleep it out.
Oh, man. Captain Buzzkill to my right over here. Here's my one chance, finally. Those voyagers had 30, 40-foot canoes carved out of one tree. They got 400 million beaver pelts in 2 centuries, almost made beaver extinct. But they're wearing those hats in Europe, so that's billions of dollars of that. Then you got lumber. More money is made by lumber than the gold rush. You got grain. The Great Lakes supplies the world with food, basically. And a lot of your food comes, all the cereal companies are based in Battle Creek, Michigan,
Sure, yeah.
Minneapolis, Minnesota for a reason. But then you got, like I said, copper, which now you mine here. Limestone, which you need to turn iron into steel. And iron. It was, and probably still is, the biggest producer of iron in the United States. Here's a fun fact for you. So this is Silicon Valley, before Silicon Valley, after World War II. The Great Lakes states, 5 of the top 7 were all around the Great Lakes. Only California and Texas were in that pile. Here's a fun fact for you. 1960 census. What Great Lakes city was bigger than Miami, Tampa, Jacksonville, Nashville, and San Jose, California?
Cleveland.
Toledo.
Oh.
Toledo, Ohio was bigger than all those. This is how big it all was. So Detroit was the epicenter of all this stuff, and I grew up in the shadow of that one. There you go.
Yeah.
At the tail end of that. But this is what they did. 37 of the top 100 companies were all based around Detroit. Tire makers, oil companies, steel companies, car companies. GM's number 1, Ford's number 3, Chrysler's number 7. They had no competition after World War II. So this place is humming. They're making a lot of money. And these guys, the guys, 29 guys on the ship, the old guys, they grew up in the Great Depression. They grew up in the World War II. Why do these jobs are hard? No question about it. But man, compared to being a miner or a farmer or a factory worker, you'd take it. Good union contracts. These guys are making good money. A deckhand in 75. Bruce Hudson, the guy I mentioned, he gets out of Ohio State University.
Is he the kid with no shirt on in the picture?
Yeah, he's a badass. He's one of yours.
Yeah.
He's got the mutton chops, the long hair, the
Looks
whole
like
bit.
Randall.
Looks like Randall.
If he was
I like him already.
There you go. I'll show you. There you go. Go to the picture section. You'll know exactly what we're talking about.
That's what I do anyway when I pick up a book.
There, perfect. You're my guy. So this guy leaves Ohio State to be a deckhand. That's the lowest guy on the ship, basically. He's making, in today's dollars, $180,000 a year. Wow. Even back then, he's making three times what a teacher makes, 4 times.
Okay.
And he's salting the money away, except for one indulgence. He's got a 1972 Dodge Challenger, badass muscle car. Beautiful burgundy. We found the car. It's still in mint condition. It's still fantastic. Still has a sticker of Columbia Transportation, which leased the Edmund Fitzgerald.
I'm looking at it right now.
There's the sticker. Right there.
No shit,
and
really?
that car, that was last year we took that photo.
I looked through these pictures with my 10-year-old this morning. Then I kind of choked up because we were listening to,
The song will get you. Once you know the story, the song kills you. So he gets on the ship. He's one of these guys, and he's making good money. He's saving it pretty well. So he and his buddy Mark Thomas in that photo, they're going to, when the season ends in 3 days, this was the last run of the season.
Oh.
Right? No matter what happened, they're going to finish the season. That car is waiting for him on the dock in Toledo 3 days later. The captain, McSorley, I'll get to him in a bit. He's going to retire after this run, after 30-some years, 40 years in the Great Lakes, promising his wife. All these guys, so they're going to get in that car and bomb across out west, where you guys are, to go to Colorado to get some Coors beer, because in 1975, that was exotic. And you got to be old enough to remember that one, by the way.
Oh yeah, because they used to make all those movies
Smokey
about
and the
that.
Bandit.
You got it.
Like Burt Reynolds built his career on that
This
movie.
story and that photo really is speaking to me.
There we go.
Although I think
He's an Ohio man.
if I did a couple cycles on a GLP-1, I think would be looking quite similar.
Well, Ohio man, 1/3 of the crew comes from Duluth, 1/3 from Toledo, 1/3 from Cleveland. So a lot of Buckeyes. This guy was a Buckeye also. But then he finds out in September, a phone call back to the Port Bar in Silver Bay, Minnesota. Beautiful spot. The Silver Bay Municipal Bar, and I've been there, of course, for hard-hitting investigative journalism. People, that's all I'm doing here. Gotta go to all the bars, Stephen. And the bartender who served them, Stephen Burns, is still. He was 18 at the time. He's 68 now. He's still there.
You're kidding me.
Dude, I got so lucky on research.
That's great.
Again and again and again. The guy at the President's Lounge in Superior, Wisconsin, he's still there. He served them the night before they left. So I'm getting all these guys. So Hudson finds out by payphone that his girlfriend in Toledo, who's a waitress, Cindy Reynolds, vivacious blonde and all that, she says, surprise, I'm pregnant. And okay, you got that phone call. You're not ready for that. So I'm not going to ask for personal experience here, who's gotten that phone call and who hasn't. But you can imagine, if you haven't, that you pause and go, oh my gosh. And he says the right stuff. He says, don't worry, we're going to move in together and we'll raise the child ourselves. And when she hears that, she goes, okay, go ahead and go on that trip because that's November. The kid's not due till June. So now he thinks he's going to marry this girl, of course. But these are the stories that happen before November 10th, 1975. And you got to care about the guys before they get in the ship. That's kind of my rule.
Yeah.
So these are real guys. I mean, these are guys, these are your neighbors. They had plans, they had futures, and of course, no one thinks this is going to happen.
Yeah. They would load, that iron ore would come out of the Iron Ranges, like in Michigan's Upper Peninsula, out of the Iron Mountains, Huron Range. Yeah.
Exactly right. It's called the Iron Range. Bob Dylan is from there. He even talks about that in the book. I'm from a place called the Iron Range. That's where my feelings and my songs come from, he says. So Iron Range is the northern part of Minnesota, northern part of Wisconsin, and the UP, Upper Peninsula of Michigan. Here's a fun fact for you. A few football fans, the Wisconsin Badgers are called the Badgers not because of the animal, because of the miners. Because in the winter, they'd live in the caves in the winter, and their nicknames were the Badgers. So those are miners they're talking about, actually. Yeah. So yeah, hard life to say the least, but all that stuff goes to Duluth, Superior, Silver Bay, 2 harbors. You put on the ships, and all the factories are Gary, Indiana, Chicago.
Because they're smelting it down there.
Exactly.
Yeah.
They smelt it right on the dock, man. It's a very efficient process. These pellets called taconite. Should have brought some. It's little rusty pebbles. Guy figured out how to do that. You know how fracking reinvigorated, obviously, drilling here in the United States. We're out of the easy stuff, so we can start fracking. all the easy iron ore is gone after World War II. We used it up for World War II. So what do? We're screwed. Well, this one professor at Minnesota figures out how to pelletize this iron ore, the scrap heap called taconite. You can actually use it if you process it and so on. We've been using taconite now for 80 years. That's what we're on. So this guy figures it out. 500 million pebbles of this stuff go on a ship. It's dirty, it's rusty, it's heavy. They tell you to wear a hat. I've been on 2 of these ships, by the way. The Arthur Anderson, I was out with him that night. And I've been on the Wilfred Sykes, also out with him that night. And they give you a helmet, when you the stupid writer guy, right? Okay, landlubber with the soft hands. Here's a helmet. Don't do anything stupid. So you put the helmet on, and you realize very quickly there are pellets of the stuff nailing your head right now as you walk to the ship because they're loading. And if you spill, they don't care. Trust me, from 30 or 40 feet down from those chutes, it'll crack your head open. So yeah, wear the damn helmet. That's my advice.
And that was how much could you fit on that? Oh yeah, we'll get you some. How much of that stuff? How much weight could they fit on the Edmund Fitzgerald?
You're not going to believe it. It's 26,000 long tons. It's a British measurement, which is actually bigger than U.S. tons. Why they do that, who knows? But it's equivalent of 4,200 adult elephants. Enough iron on that ship to build by itself 7,000 cars. And they make 50 runs a year. So one ship, the Edmund Fitzgerald per year, gives you enough iron to build 350,000 cars. In the course of its 18 years, enough iron to build 6 million cars. That's one ship. That's what the sheer scale of all this is just mind blowing.
Yeah, and that thing, I didn't know that thing was making 40 some trips per year.
50. Yeah. And I mean, it's nonstop. It's 9 months out of the year. And trust me, you're either loading or you're sailing or you're unloading. I took a Skip Barber race car class years ago for the Detroit Grand Prix. He said you either put your foot on the gas, your foot on the brake. If you do anything else, you're losing. So you're either going as fast as you can or as slow as you can. These guys, same thing. If your ship gets into Zug Island, Detroit, a nasty little spit of land, at 3 o'clock in the morning, they're unloading. And then at 7 o'clock in the morning, they're loading. And then they're sailing. And they don't wait for anybody or anything. You're constantly moving. And I was kind of wondering, if shipping's this big, it was a great line from Willie Sutton, if this is dangerous, why do it? Willie Sutton, the old gangster, said, someone once asked him, why do you rob banks? And he said, because that's where the money is. He's got a point.
Yeah.
Why, if it's this dangerous, 6,000 shipwrecks, why do it? Because that's where the money is. Like I said, Detroit was that big a deal. But then I also wonder, okay, I live in Michigan. You live in Muskegon. Muskegon is one of the best natural ports on the Great Lakes. And that's in the book several times. It's a very important port. And that's lumber in the old days. The lumber from Muskegon built the first Chicago that burned down in 1871. So that's your town. But I was wondering, why have I never met these guys? I mean, I know factory workers, miners, farmers, etc. I don't know any sailors because there are only 9,000 of them. 30 guys per ship, 300 ships in the heyday. It's only 9,000 guys spread out over 8 states. Right, and also
they all pass through the porthole.
They all pass through the porthole. And the second thing is, even if they live next to you, you still don't meet them. They're on a ship back then, 9 months out of the year. Yeah. No vacations, no weddings, no graduations, no birthdays, no nothing. I talked to one of these guys, and he said, "I'm a good family man, happily married, 40 some years. I got 3 great kids. I didn't teach any of them how to ride a bike or throw a baseball or hunt or fish. You're not home, and it's heartbreaking. So it's a hard life."
He was just on the ships.
9 months out of the year, you're home for 3 months. And he said, there's nothing better than coming home in January with a big old bonus check that pays for everything. These guys were paid well. There's no question about that. These guys, they weren't even all high school graduates, but they were self-educated. They're very good at that. They had to pass all these tests. Come home with a nice big bonus check, and my kids run up to me, and they give me a big hug. And I'm home for 3 months, and my kids say, "Daddy, you smell like a truck." And I say, "No, Daddy smells like a paycheck." That's the life.
Yeah. When they launched that ship, there was like some weird stuff happened. Or like later seemed weird.
Even at the time, some of it seemed weird. And by the way...
Yeah, talk about there's kind of like 3 sort of, I don't know, man.
When you say launched, do you mean that night or when the ship was christened?
When they christened it.
There you go.
Like the gal, the
first photo.
Edmund Fitzgerald's wife goes to smack a bottle, champagne bottle, takes 3 hits to break it. A guy dies of a heart attack, right? And then they have like a North Korean-esque launch
With the guys
Complication.
underneath it? Yeah, it's about right. By the way, you podcast listeners, MeatEater podcast listeners, this man has range. Hampton Sides is a Yale-educated hotshot writer, one of my heroes. You've done your homework on this one as well, so you got it down. June 23rd, 1958, 15,000 people show up in Detroit to see this ship get launched. That's more than the Detroit Tigers averaged the entire year. Now, okay.
That's Tigers baseball.
They sucked. Okay, I'll grant you that simple point, but it was a huge deal. And people came in their Sunday best to see this, and they had a launch pad, and she was up there with the bunting and all that in her Sunday best. 3 whacks to break the champagne bottle. Sailors are notoriously superstitious, and they're already getting the bad voodoo on that one, so that's not good. It took them about half an hour to get that ship into the water, because guess what? It weighs, the number's in there, some ridiculous number of tons. Crazy. It's the same height as the Detroit Renaissance Center, the tallest one. It's 730 feet, 729 feet. But it's no wider than the run from home plate to first base. It's 75 feet. It's
Because of the locks?
Because of the locks.
Is it really that narrow?
These things are nuts. And no ships like this are built anywhere else in the world. And if your ship, I'm skipping ahead
that
here.
thing is 25 yards wide? 75 feet wide?
Exactly. It's nothing.
That's crazy.
Your old ruler at school, that's about the dimensions. It's 10 to 1. They don't, I mean, in the ocean, they make them shorter and fatter, like you should, basically, like you would normally.
Man, I got to just tell you a little deal about that. When we used to hunt ducks right at like Sugar Island, Nevish Island, and St. Mary's River. You have your ducks out, you have your decoys out, 18 inches of water. One of them sons of bitches would come by. Whoosh. First off, all of a sudden your ducks are in 36 inches of water. When that passes and the water comes in, your decoys are laying in the mud when it fills back in.
And that's just when these big old ships are putzing through.
Yeah.
They're not going
your
full
decoys
blast.
are in the mud, and all of a sudden they come right back up.
If you were hunting or fishing,
but I would never guess that's only 75 feet wide.
It's crazy.
They look like bigger than God.
But
they are.
It's 700 feet tall, you said?
Well, it's 729 feet long.
Oh, long. Gotcha.
The Detroit Renaissance Center, if you know where that is, they got the 4 shorter buildings and the tall one. It's the tallest building between Toronto and Chicago. It is 730 feet. So this is a 73-story skyscraper on its side.
End to nose, yeah.
End to nose, thank
Or
you.
however,
That's the phrase I need,
yeah,
Stephen.
yeah,
Thank
yeah.
you. But only 75 feet wide. And again, if you're a shipbuilder, and these guys were great shipbuilders, you got 3 criteria. 1, haul as much cargo as you can, because that's how you make money. 2, fit the damn thing through the Soo locks, because they're only 75 feet wide. That's the limit right there.
Like that sets the ship's design.
And that's exactly what they did. They were within 1 foot of one and no inches on the other. I mean, this is maxed out. And then, of course, the third thing is handle rough seas. Well, if you're a shipping company, you can't do all 3.
Yeah.
Guess which 2 you're picking.
Yeah.
So these things are very poorly designed for rough seas. Like I said, you can snap it between 2 waves. They roll back and forth, which is left and right. Hey, your podcast is awesome because your guys have been in boats. All right, they've been out fishing and so on. When you're facing waves, you think smashing into waves is bad with a V-hull. No, it's not. It's broadside that'll screw you up. All right,
In the trough.
In the trough, baby. Exactly, Brody. It's exactly what happens with these ships. Where do you not want to be? In the trough. And that's what's going to happen later on. So smashing into waves sucks. And one of the guys, I got one guy, Rick Barthuli. You guys would love this guy. Looks a bit like my buddy Randall over here. He's got
people.
Good people. Self-educated guy, very smart, sarcastic.
Likes hot dogs.
Likes hot, oh, hell yeah. So he does not own a computer. He has not got the internet. All he has is a cell phone. He's off the grid, basically, except for the cell phone. So it took me a year to find this guy, another year to convince him to talk to me. He's the last guy left, to my knowledge, of anybody on the Arthur Anderson that night, which is 1 hour behind the Fitz, taking the same route.
Oh.
And they're the ones communicating back and forth. So he's as close as we can get to what's it like to be on this thing. And he says, you think you're smashing this wave. Unless you've been on one of these ships, you have no idea what this is like. Every wave is a train wreck. It goes bang, 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 as it kind of crunches down. And then it stretches out again. Then it goes bang, 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 bang. And that's 4 to 8 seconds. 20-foot waves, you ain't sleeping. There's no way. And they got 30 and 40-foot waves. So that's how they designed them. And it's 10 by 1. It's crazy.
Has that design changed since then? No,
because the Soo locks haven't changed. And they're finishing another one, the first one since 1968. They're doing that one right now. And trust me, they're going to get bigger. Now you got 1,000-footers that are still 75-foot
Wow.
wide.
You're kidding me.
It's nuts.
How deep are they sitting in the water?
That is a brilliant question.
Yeah.
How deep are they supposed to sit, or how deep do they sit?
Loaded, unloaded?
So originally the plan was 14 feet of what's called freeboard. You guys know what that is. Again, dude, this is my first podcast, my first interview. I've done 30 or 40 by now.
With big mariners.
Well, people actually know what the hell I'm talking
expired captain's license.
about. You're as close as I get, Randall. I'll take your expired captain's license. Yeah, you guys know what it's all about. So freeboard is the distance between the water and the top of your deck. And the U.S. Coast Guard and others, ABS, have got regulations on this.
Okay.
When the ship was built, 1958, it was allowed 14 feet of freeboard, and then therefore about 25 feet below the water.
Yeah, on these things, you see those markers.
That is the Plimsoll line. I got a chapter on it. You're on
what's
top
it
of
called?
it. The Plimsoll line, a British politician from the 1840s Plimsoll, who made this line, and everyone ignored it except Lloyd's of London, the insurance company.
They cared.
You know where I'm going with this one.
Yeah.
If you break that law, we're not paying you a dime. So now all of a sudden, the equation shifted. In the old days, the guys in England in the 1850s, 1860s, they would overload their ships, take out a ton of insurance, sink it almost intentionally with crew on board. They didn't care, and collect the money. So this changed all that. So this is how evil it was. So they were allowed 14 feet, and then who knows why? In 1969, 71, and 73, the regulations changed and allowed it to go bit by bit from 14 feet above the water to only 11 feet above the water. In the engineer's defense, they didn't design it for that. And by the way, 1 inch of taconite, by the way, is tons, 1 inch. Cheat on this thing. 1 inch is millions of dollars of taconite. 1 inch.
Wow.
Is that thing just a big tub in the bottom, or is it divided into compartments?
It's divided into 3 main cargo holds. And I've heard stories about guys who fell into those. Back then, you could drink on board and things like this, and drugs were prevalent. Guys who fell in and died while trying to hose it down. So don't drink and hose is my advice on that one. But yes, there's 3 gigantic holds. It's most of the 700 feet.
Yeah.
And I mean, I'm standing there 2 feet away from these things, and it's only like 2 feet. I mean, I could easily fall in. It's one of those things where they tell you, don't be an idiot, basically. But yes, that's a very good question. And they unload it. Now they've got self-unloaders, but back then they scooped it out. So it's a crazy setup, to say the least.
Let's jump to that night a little bit. We've kind of established this run they're making. Oh, before we jump to that night, I got one more. Are they coming back empty?
Yes, every time.
There's nothing to bring up there.
Nothing to bring up. Well, here's a fun fact for you. Trains are twice as efficient as trucks, and ships are 3 times more efficient than trains. So ships are 600% more efficient than trucks. It ain't even close. So you carry so much on these ships, you can afford to spend 3 days going to Toledo and come back empty because it doesn't matter.
Got it.
Anything you can put on a ship, you put on a ship. It's just far more efficient.
Got it.
So you're right. And also when you're coming back, you're riding high. That's when you fill the ballast tanks with water to give you some. If you don't fill them with water, the screws, the propellers, which are 30 feet high, they won't even touch the water. So you got to weigh it down.
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah. You'll just grind it to death.
All right.
So yeah, you got to do that. But when it's riding, when I'm looking at a photo, even Land Lumber me, I can tell you when the Fitz is loaded and when it's not. And these guys can tell immediately.
Got it.
So you lose 10 feet or something.
Yeah.
So
that night, or I don't know what time they take off. Presumably they don't take off at night, but they take off.
They take them whenever they take off. Trust me.
They take off knowing there's like what is their awareness of the weather? Like what is the forecast when they take off?
This guy might be a genius. Exactly right. The 2 problems they had back then.
That's a stretch, but I know that bad.
I actually like the positive vibes in the room right now.
But I just know the wind.
I assume that's rare, Randall.
I know the wind in the wires made a tattletale sound.
There you go. You know the
when she
lyrics.
left fully loaded.
He
for
doesn't
Cleveland.
pay any attention to the weather when we're in Alaska and 16-foot skips.
But now
No matter what the forecast is, I'll say, well, let's go have a look.
Yeah, you'd fit right in on this ship. So here's what happens. And you guys, your listeners got to know the weather. You got to watch the weather. And one of my guys, his dad was also a Great Lakes captain. He said when the weather came on, and I'm a kid in Cleveland, everyone shut the hell up. And because that will determine if your dad is listening like this. I didn't get that till I got in the ship. And the weather's why you come home or why you don't. Now, in this case, the gales in November, it's like hurricane season in Florida. When is that? It's September. because the water's warm and the air is cool. The water wants to rise. When you boil water on your stove at home, it evaporates, it rises, right? Because it wants to join the cold air and so on.
Okay.
It happens in November on the Great Lakes. November is notoriously dangerous. November 10th is the most dangerous day on the Great Lakes.
Really?
Oh yeah, and
it's really worse than January.
it's worse than December. It's worse than January because by then winter has arrived and the water and the air get along. They're not in contrast.
I see.
So it's when they're fighting, you get waves. So, and on top of that, and you're right about the forecasting. So a few things happen. One, it's 70 degrees on November 9th, the day they take off at 2:00 in the afternoon.
Okay.
It's 70 degrees in Duluth.
Wow.
And it ain't supposed to be 70 degrees in Duluth. All right. You think that's great news. It's bad news. What I learned doing this book from the experts, the longer winter takes to arrive, the nastier it shows up. It's like water behind a dam. And the more water you get, when that dam finally breaks, the worse it's going to be. So 70 degrees on Sunday is really bad news.
Just too warm. The water's too warm.
Water's too warm, and the air switches. It's gonna happen fast and nasty.
Isn't that like this year? Everything's been real hot up there.
Yeah, basically. But exactly right, Corinne. And if it happens suddenly, these guys will know better.
Yeah,
now.
and the Great Lakes are big enough; they'll create their own weather.
They actually do. And what these guys told me that you have faraway storms in the ocean, as I said earlier. On the Great Lakes, they're called locally occurring storms, which means the damn thing right over your head.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So you're fishing in the morning and you're rowing for your dear life 2 hours later.
Yep.
It happens very fast. So winter's going to come from the Alberta Clipper, from obviously Western Canada, across the Dakotas, Minnesota, and that's going to run all the way across 350 miles of fetch, and you guys know what fetch is, across Lake Superior. That's nasty, cold, dry air. They expected that, basically. They didn't know how bad. They did not know about another storm they should have. Some of the guys did know about this in the weather forecasting business. A hot, wet air coming in from California, Texas, Oklahoma, Iowa, straight up to the Great Lakes. These two storms are going to meet right in front of Whitefish Bay, your old fishing spot.
Good.
Whitefish Bay is home plate. That's where you're trying to get to after 2 days getting across Lake Superior. Now it's like a catcher in front of home plate blocking your way home. And this captain does not know that.
Okay.
So that's tragic. And then what happens? So he does know he's in for a storm. So he and Bernie Cooper of the Arthur Anderson, they're buddies, but they're still competing, of course, to get there first. And why do you compete? If you beat a ship by a minute, you beat them by a couple hours because you'll get to the Sulaks first, only one ship at a time. You'll get to the dock first. You unload first. That's 4 or 5 hours. A minute can be a half a day.
Yeah.
So these guys are competitive dudes, to say the least. So
But
anyway,
they still but
they still get along.
Yeah, but they still come together. Or is it just coincidence that they're sailing together?
No, it's not.
Okay.
They're talking to each other. And early on, around 4 or 5 o'clock on Sunday, they say, you know what, this thing's pretty nasty. Let's take the northern route.
Okay.
And normally he'd never do that. And McSorley was the best captain on the Great Lakes. Captain, he's 31 years old. He's been the youngest captain of the Great Lakes when he became a captain at 31. Now he's 63. He's been a captain more than half his life. He's the most aggressive captain. He never turns around. He never takes the northern route. He never weighs anchor. He just goes. So the company likes that. He's the best in rough weather, they all say. Got a witness, Craig Sullivan, who's on the ship in 72. He said, I saw that man park 729 feet of steel between two other freighters with 3 feet on either side and not touch a damn thing like you're parallel parking your Ford F-150. Right? This man was the best. And he's also beloved, which those guys were not back then. These guys that throw hot coffee at you, yell at cadets and all kinds of other stuff. They're tyrants, basically. This guy was so beloved, his crew would follow him from ship to ship.
Huh.
So you have the best ship in the Great Lakes, the longest, the fastest, the most luxurious. How about that? The best food.
They had air conditioning in their bunks.
They had air conditioning in 1958. Homes didn't have that where we're from.
And was it like leather furniture and stuff like that?
Leather furniture, 2 VIP quarters for the rich folks,
Mm.
the people who write the checks, the National Steel, U.S. Steel,
Yeah.
Ford Motor Company to entertain those guys. Because you want the best captain of the Great Lakes, you want the best crew in the Great Lakes, and you want the most money. That's how you get it. So it was not wasted money. So McSorley, here's a more heartbreaking stuff. They're supposed to end the season the week before. He tacks on one more trip to get his bonus. Why?
What?
His wife, Nellie, is sick in Toledo. She's got cancer, we think. I'm not entirely sure about that, but I've got some witnesses on that. So she's already in 24-hour care. She might be able to pull through. So this trip is for her health care. And he's about to retire. So normally he'd never take the northern route, but he's thinking, who the hell's going to fire me? go ahead. I'm
What was the advantage of taking the northern route?
smart man, Brody.
Good job, Brody.
A few things. One, they normally go straight across Lake Superior south as you can. This is the straightest line possible. By taking the northern route, you get the lee of the Canadian shore. So,
Okay.
and you guys know what lee is.
Yep.
There are 20 terms I've used tonight that I could not use last night.
This is all on a day of halibut fishing, man.
If you're in a bookstore in Milwaukee or Minnesota, you better explain a lot of stuff. So this is my gang. So you get the lee of the western shore, the northern shore. You're basically hugging Canada
Okay.
across Superior. Now, a few catches to that, though. One is the safe, rational thing to do. So I'm not one of those ones that dump on McSorley and say, screw the whole thing up. That's a rational move.
Okay.
All right. But few catches. One of the yours you already know. It's pay me now or pay me later. So, okay, the first two legs are quieter and softer and not as windy and so on. But that third leg's going to be hell. Because now you're exposed. You have 350 feet, 350 miles of fetch.
Oh.
And now those waves are hitting you broadside. This is you're in your bathtub and this is the drain. And go ahead and make some waves. What's going to happen at the end? It's going to be nasty at that end. So, and you're going to be hitting those broadside. That's not what you want. All right, your last leg. That's going to be about 10 hours.
Okay.
That's one problem. Second problem is it's 14 hours longer than the straight shot. All right. You just gave that Southern Storm a 14-hour head start to get to Whitefish Bay first. And I posit in the book
And this is the captain's call.
completely.
Like he's
No
like
one else's.
unilateral. That's what's happening.
Not a democracy.
Yeah.
The vote's 1-0 on all decisions.
Yeah.
You might consult, and he did, but it's 1-0, and you are therefore responsible for all decisions. Another guy out that night on the Sykes, he said this is too nasty, and this is one of the best captains in the Great Lakes also. They're probably the best at forecasting. And he says, we're tucking in. We're going to go into the bay. And his crew is warning him.
And ride it out.
Ride it out.
Okay.
And his crew is warning him, sir, if you do, Captain, if you do that and there's no storm, it can be your ass with Cleveland, with the company. So those are the pros and cons you deal with. Now, McSorley no longer cares. This is his last trip. So anyway, 14 hours. Here's the third problem. He does not know this route nearly as well. He takes the southern route 50 times a year, really 100, back and forth. He's done that his entire career, 40 years at least.
Okay.
He's done this thousands of times. He knows all the islands. He knows all the stuff out there and the currents and everything else. He does not know this. I had two guys on the ship that year. And they said, we didn't take it in the last year and a half, not once, the northern route.
Got it.
Why does that matter? It's superior. It's 1,300 feet deep. It's gigantic. Not quite. There's a little crappy pile of dirt called Caribou Island in the northeast corner of Lake Superior, right when you take that final stretch down. It's 1 mile by 3 mile. It barely shows up on most maps. It's called Caribou Island. I have no idea why.
Well, can I interject?
Yes. Hey, by the way, it's your show.
Historically, here's the crazy part. Like Isle Royal
Yes.
being a wolf moose island,
Yes.
historically was a caribou lynx island.
I did not know that.
Yeah.
Isle Royal is the nation's biggest. It's the nation's only island national park.
Mhm.
And it's 10 times the size of Manhattan, but no one knows that.
Yeah.
And
So,
it has
There's
the
caribou
biggest,
up there like after 1900.
Yeah. No, in the in the modern modern America.
Yeah.
It has
Sorry.
the biggest,
During American history, there was a caribou lynx island.
That was news to me. And by the way, it's the first show also that I learned something.
Oh, good.
you can go there, you can hike up on a mountain on Isle Royal, and you can look at the biggest island and the biggest lake on the biggest island in the biggest lake.
That's in the book. It's Isle Royal is so big, 10 times the size of Manhattan. It's got a lake in the island with a lake.
Been there.
There you go. Randall,
Seen it with my own eyes.
there you go. And they use Isle Royal. That's part of the lee. They go just south of Isle Royal to get that protection.
The worst,
Normally they
the
wouldn't.
worst boat ride I've ever been on was getting to Isle Royal
On the Ranger 3.
from International Falls side.
Oh God, that's brutal.
And yeah, I've never been seasick before. I was seasick on that.
All right, we're getting pretty serious here. Here's the thing they used to do. The guys on those ships who were working those ships, I talked to one of those guys. I had to cut the damn thing, but this will be fun for you guys. I remember Dinty Moore, Hunter Stew, and all that stuff.
yeah.
The one guy would start acting like he's sick with 5-foot waves. 5-foot waves are enough to get these campers to sick. He had some Dinty Moore, and he'd all of a sudden go blah and spill the stuff. And his other buddy comes by and goes, "Oh my God!" He'd have a spoon and he'd start eating it. And then, of course, the poor campers, that they see that, and
That's great, man.
Yeah.
they're over the side. So
Okay, so I derailed you at Caribou Island.
It's quite all right because we needed that laugh.
Okay,
And I will never get another chance in my life to tell that story. So Caribou Island. It's 1 mile by 3 miles. It's called Caribou Island. I have no idea. It's just a swamp with mosquitoes. It's nasty.
Okay.
The caribou left. If they're ever on there, they swam across to Canada long
They're
ago.
gone.
No reason to go there. But in front of it, to the north, it's something called 6 Fathoms Shoal. You guys know what a fathom is. My other folks usually don't. It's 6 feet. 6 fathoms is therefore 36 feet. If you're drafting 29 feet on a good day, and this is not a good day, you have no reason to be anywhere near this. There's nothing to gain. But it's also misleading. It's not 6 fathoms. In some places, it's 11 feet. That's no deeper than your backyard pool. So you have no reason to be anywhere near this thing. Why would he come anywhere near it?
Got it.
The storm now is 70-mile-per-hour winds, 30-foot waves. It's pretty nasty. Not quite the worst he's ever seen, but getting there. His long radar is knocked out. His short radar is knocked out.
By waves.
By waves. Exactly right.
Okay.
Thank you. And Whitefish Point, and you've seen that lighthouse. It's the one lighthouse on the Great Lakes everyone's dying to see. That light, of course, goes out that night.
Oh,
The radio beacon that signals the ships where you are also goes out.
Because of why?
The storm. I mean,
The
70
storm knocked the lighthouse out.
Well, dominoes start falling.
Power outages.
And just dumb luck in some cases.
Got it.
So there you are. So now you have truly sailing blind. All you have are what they call charts and we call maps. And it's about as big as this table. These things are like 4 by 5. They're huge. And in the chart room, you got these gigantic drawers. One says Lake Huron, one says Lake Ontario. You pull out 6 or 7 per lake.
Yeah.
Now, if you're old enough and you kids have no idea what the hell I'm talking about, but AAA used to give something called a triptych, all right? And to put all your maps on a trip all in an order. So if I'm going from Michigan to Montana, I would know how to do it. And it works pretty well. That's how these maps work. But if you skip ahead, you're screwed because now nothing makes sense. So if he does not know where he is, Tom Wider, a great hunter also, by the way, he's also a sea captain in the Great Lakes, he said it's entirely possible he would have changed maps too soon. You're in 30-foot waves. You've not slept in 36 hours. You get what's called motion fatigue. That is like being drunk after 36 hours of these waves. And you've not taken this route in years. If he shifted his map too soon, all right, to get Whitefish Bay on the map, because that's where he wants to go, all right, the Caribou area is still there, but it now disappears because the scale has changed. So you might not be aware that you're anywhere near this, and the Anderson is convinced that they saw them on the radar go right over 6 Fathoms Shoal. If they did, it would explain why 2 hours later, he's talking to Bernie Cooper, that is the captain of the Edmund Fitzgerald, McSorley, saying, my fence railing's down, I've got 2 vent covers blown off by the waves, a few other problems, and in passing, I've got a list. All right, okay, so you guys know what that means. That's my 30th term. I don't have to define to you guys, but tilting to the right, to starboard. All right, not that big a deal at first. 2 hours later, it's the first thing that he mentions. And these guys are very reluctant to admit anything is wrong with their ships for a few reasons. One, they're in competition. You don't put anything on the radio, you don't have to.
Okay.
Second of all, it's the whole macho aspect. Man, we've all been on planes. We're experiencing a little turbulence here, people. Yeah, we're bouncing up and down 200 feet. We'll be okay here in just a few minutes. That's what these guys are like. So for him to admit this much is very unusual. So now you got a pretty serious list. What does that mean? It means either taking water from the bottom or the load has shifted or possibly both. And if they bottomed out at 6 Fathoms Shoal, that could be the reason. Once you've starboard, all right, you can't steer.
But why wouldn't he have mentioned we hit?
Here's the bizarre part, and I could not believe this either, but I had 10 experts tell me it's true. You might not have known. And I thought that's impossible.
Hit something enough to put a hole through that thing
it
knock
it's
your teeth
sandstone. It's sandstone, for crying out loud. This is hard stuff. All right, and you got a hard ship. How could you not know that? And I talked to experienced captains and say, the waves are so nasty. Like I said, they're a train wreck that you can't tell the difference between the train wreck of a good wave.
Got it.
And one guy, the Badger, that runs from Muskegon to...
I've been on it.
Yeah, exactly.
Manitowoc, right?
That's right.
Yeah.
Wiltsey is the captain of that ship. He said, I was leaving the breakwater one time, and the waves were so nasty, I thought I hit the breakwater. I had not. And I didn't know this stuff worked like that. But it does.
Okay.
So even a good captain cannot be aware. So whether it tore a hole or scraped it or whatever, we're not quite sure. But anyway, now you're listing. If you're listing, you can't steer properly. You're much more in danger of capsizing when you're going broadside.
Yeah.
And you're like a 3-legged animal in the wild, and you guys know what those are like. All right? One good wave now can take you out. And when it reaches the point that they didn't want to be in, as I said earlier, the worst place, the worst time, 100-mile-per-hour winds and up to 60-foot waves. And at some point, the ship probably didn't come back up. We don't know, but that's the best guess.
The best guess right now is that it hit. Did it hit something?
That I think, if you're asking me,
I know, like I understand
$100?
that no one really knows, but like, where's sort of the?
All right, let's get
what
down
is
and
the
dirty.
sort of like academic consensus?
There is none.
Okay.
But I can tell you this: some new data in here. Dick Race, there's a name for you. He's the best diver in the Great Lakes. He died in 2002 when a 747 went in Lake Michigan in the 60s. He's the guy who found it when no one else could.
Okay.
The lakes are bigger than you think. He worked at the Chicago Police Department. He did his own work. He's the best in the lakes. 3 guys who knew him well. Also the same thing. The company asked him to dive down 6 months later on 6 Fathom Shoal.
Yeah, look for a strike.
Look for a strike.
Yeah.
Exactly right, Stephen. And wherever that report is, by the way, I found the guy, Peter Grow, was in charge of 1,000 boxes, banker's boxes, of that company's files when it went bankrupt in 2004. He spent 2 years going through all these files. He found every box and went through them all except for 3. The 3 involving the Edmund Fitzgerald, and no one signed him out. There's no trace. That's where his report is. I'm almost sure of it. And I couldn't find it. Dick Race reported on this, so his file is gone. We don't know where it is, and I tried like hell to find it. But he told 3 different guys in Chicago, Traverse City, and Muskegon the exact same thing. I saw the Fitzgerald's paint on that bottom. I saw a rock nearby with scratches that no animal can make. That had to be from the ship. So is that proof?
There wasn't, like, when they found the wreckage, there was like no like autopsy they could do on the wreckage.
Yes and no, and it gets us closer to it, but it's not definitive.
Yeah.
But anyway, so at 7:00, when Bernie Cooper calls him, and he's the captain of the Anderson, and he says, "How are you making out with your problems?" He says, and I quote, "We are holding our own." And that is the ringing line from Captain McSorley. Those are the last words from anybody on board. Whatever happened next. One thing we say that people academically even agree on, whatever happened was fast. And what's our proof on that? This guy is the best captain of the Great Lakes. If he had 10 seconds to get out an SOS with coordinates, he sure as hell would have done it. This guy's good. All right. The lifeboats were secured. The life jackets were where they left them. Only one guy we've seen in the bottom is wearing a life jacket. So whatever happened very fast. They say it went 35 miles per hour down to the bottom. Wow. It might have cracked on top.
There's a guy on the bottom wearing a life jacket?
Yes.
How come he didn't float?
Because he's inside the. They're all inside the ship.
Understood. Oh, they are?
Yep. Some are in
I was gonna
the
ask
pilot
about
house
that.
and some are in the engine room. And no one's in the middle. So.
Is that right?
Yeah, we don't want to be in the middle. Not that it worked out well anyway.
And how deep did it?
Here's the
end
weird
up?
part. So, kind of an academic question. Did it crack on the surface as other ships had, or did it crack after it hit? And a lot of people say it cracked on the surface, and again, we can't prove it either way. But here's a wild stat for you. It's down 530 feet deep. Now, you better, you can't dive down there for the hell of it. You better know what you're doing, special gear, licensed people, submersibles, all that stuff. So it's 530 feet down. But this ship is 729 feet long. So even if it hit the bow, you have 200 feet outside the
That's
water.
crazy.
Yeah.
All right. So that would certainly have cracked it at that point with all the weight on it. So either one could have happened, and I can't say.
I never thought of it. It's taller than it is deep.
And it's 530 feet deep.
How far are the two pieces apart?
About a quarter mile. About like that. And in between, it's like 1/3 the bow upright. So you can see the Edmund Fitzgerald on the side. 1/3 the stern upside down. So we see in the book, Edmund Fitzgerald upside down, which is sad to see. In the middle is about 1/3, and it's just blown apart. And the tacknet is still down there. So, and all 29 men as well. And the line from the song, the Chippewa, comes from a Newsweek story, but Gordon Lightfoot got. The Great Lake never gives up her dead. What that means is
The lake, it is said, never gives up her dead.
You'd think by now I'd be an expert on this stuff, but this guy's got the lyrics exactly right. Thank you again, Doctor.
No problem.
He's got it. He's right. The lake, it is said, never
It's
gives
an
up her dead.
honorary doctorate.
I call that a professional courtesy. Thank you very
Randall's
much.
is real.
And we need a light moment, so that's good too. The author of the book who paid $2,000 for the rights didn't get the lyric right, so thank you for that. Why is that? Because if you drown in Michigan, like Erie, almost anywhere you go in the United States, bacteria will eventually invade your body. When the bacteria do that, they are lighter than water. So your body starts floating up.
Huh.
So that's why they float up within a week or two, usually in drownings, fishermen included. On the Great Lakes, on Lake Superior, you're so far down, it's dark all day long. It's pitch black. It's so cold, bacteria can't live there.
It's just sterile down there.
It is sterile. Bacteria do not live down there. Almost nothing lives down there. So bacteria never invade your body. So these bodies, hate to get grim, they do not decompose in the normal way. They're still largely recognizable.
But what has been the argument? Why haven't the families wanted to? Why haven't the families wanted to bring up the remains of their relatives?
One of them did for a while until she found out she's an only child also, Deb Champeau, just saw her 2 days ago in Milwaukee. She's a 16-year-old girl when her dad's ship goes down, and they were very close. At first, she wanted to, and his brother was in Vietnam. And here's a little story. He's 13 years old in the Great Depression when his dad dies suddenly. He's the oldest of 5 kids. What do you do if you're in rural Wisconsin at that point? You drop out of school and you start working. These guys are tough dudes. So he paid for his brothers to get through school. He joins the military, sends checks back. He was decorated himself, gets on a ship, makes good money, and gives the money back to his family. But he always promised his brother in Vietnam, if anything ever happens to you, I will go to Vietnam and I will bring you back. And he said that more than once. So when this ship goes down, his brother wants to do the same thing. I want to go down and bring you back. But Deb Champeau realized, A, it's very dangerous. They've made three dives down there, no accidents. But it's very dangerous to do that stuff. Okay. 2, the other people are also on the ship. And she said in the Marines, you never leave your men.
Got it.
So that was the ethos of leaving the guys on the ship. So they all agree they're not going to come up. And they're all basically entombed there, essentially.
And how they're all accounted for?
That I can't say for sure. Well, I can, because by now something would have happened. All 29 men are in one side or the other. You would never be in the middle of that ship anyway.
But I'm just surprised.
And no one's
conditions were such that no one would be on deck. It'd be like laughable to be on deck.
Exactly. And laughable is right. And no fence railing even on top of that.
And so fast that no one ever attempted to
jump off.
Like no lifeboats ever washed ashore. No,
the lifeboats did, but only after they popped out on their way down.
I see.
And these things were destroyed.
Okay, but no sign that someone had taken any kind of steps to do that.
The one life jacket is the only sign we have that anybody felt that doom was apparent. These guys usually didn't wear life jackets. Some of these guys couldn't swim. Which seems crazy to me, but Coast Guard never tested for it. Yeah. And Ransom Cundy, there's a name for you. His nickname was Handsome Ransom Cundy. He told his daughter, all it does is prolong the agony. So if these guys, and you have 10 minutes in that water anyway.
Kind of a fatal.
So
it's like,
got it.
Why bother kind of thing.
That's what that was the mindset.
So it's assumed that the men drown.
Yes, I think proven basically. So 29 men.
That thing went down fast.
To answer your question, I don't think anyone's gone down there and counted the
head count.
Counted the dead.
What was going on with the other captain?
He was fighting for his life, of course, 30, 40 footers, but he was not quite in as bad a place. He's an hour behind the MF Fitzgerald.
Did he also take? He did take the northern route.
The northern route, yeah. And he's another aggressive guy, so this is unusual. But his radar's working, so they certainly avoided Caribou Island. We got a map in there showing the 2 routes they took. Man, they took a wide swing around that whole thing. He told his wheelsman, we ain't coming anywhere near this thing.
Right.
I mean, I don't want to see it.
And without
there's no reason to.
Coming near the 6 Fathom Shoal.
Exactly. That's death.
Without an SOS call, he realizes that something's awry when he loses contact. He doesn't get any response on the radio, or
I mean Bernie Cooper and the Anderson.
At what point do they realize something's happened?
They come to it slowly because again, he's fighting for his life.
Yeah.
He's an hour behind, so the worst of it lasts about an hour, and that's where the Fitzgerald was. It's still bad when he comes through, 30, 40 footers, whatever. So he's keeping it monitored, but you only check it in every half an hour, every hour. But he loses them on the radar. That concerns him, but that's possible. That can happen. Then he tells his guys the power might have gone out on the ship, which does happen. The electrical systems can pop out. But after an hour, he realized this is not right. So he calls the Coast Guard, and I hate to be critical of the Coast Guard. These guys have saved thousands of lives, and I got many of them in the book. These guys risk their own lives. They're very, very good. But the Sioux Locks Coast Guard station did not come through that night. They had 2 ships that did not go out. And the guys...
It wouldn't have mattered.
It wouldn't have mattered. but you got to be ready. But anyway,
Yeah. No, I understand the criticism. I'm saying it wasn't.
No, it was immaterial. You're dead right.
Yeah.
No pun intended. Sorry. But the Captain Cooper of the Anderson calls the Sioux group in the Sioux Locks and talking to Petty Officer Branch. This guy's young buck. And he asks Cooper to go from Channel 16 to Channel 12 because Channel 16 is for emergencies. He's reporting to Edmund Fitzgerald being missing. Is there a greater emergency than that? I mean, what's even close? This guy's just not getting it. And Cooper's trying to get through to me. Hey, I think the ship is missing. When they finally get to Whitefish Bay at 9 o'clock at night, he's certain that it's gone.
Yeah.
There's no reason why we wouldn't pass them or wouldn't be in.
What time did the ship break apart?
7 o'clock, 7:10, somewhere in there. And
That time of year, dark.
oh yeah, absolutely. It's been dark for a while at that point. It's like 4:30, as you know, that area. So the Petty Officer Branch testifies a few days later and asks to explain himself, his various responses. And he says, I thought it was important, but at that time, not urgent. And I can't explain that answer. So it didn't matter as far as what happened.
Yeah, no, I
but
understand.
it's still, that's what Cooper's dealing with.
Mm-hmm.
When they get to Whitefish Bay, they've not even weighed anchor. And Coast Guard says, can you go back out and look for the Fitzgerald?
Says to who?
Cooper of the Anderson.
To take a iron ore freighter and go look for it?
Yes. And you just got in like this, skin of your teeth. You are happy to be alive. And so is the crew. It's the worst storm he's ever seen in his entire career. And they ask him before you even drop anchor to go back out. And you're, like I said,
To take a loaded freighter out and look for a freighter.
600 feet some. Oh, it's actually longer at that point, 700 some.
What the hell is he supposed to do?
I just gave a shrug for the radio. It's a fool's mission. And they know damn well that you don't lose 729 feet of steel. It's a fool's mission. They know that. But in the Bradley in 58 and the Morrell in 66, great first-person testimony we've got in the book. From the guys, there are 3 guys in one raft and 4 guys in another raft, and end up being 2 in 1 because the guys died on the raft and stayed on the raft. They didn't have the energy to throw them over at that point, at these horrible wrecks. And they said, we're freezing. We have no energy to even grab a rope by the time they get us. What kept us going? We're dying and so on. The only thing that kept us going was the thin thread of hope that somewhere out there is some guy in the Coast Guard or somewhere else who's willing to risk his life to save mine, because you can't save my life any other way without risking yours.
Got it.
And Coast Guard guys die doing this stuff. I mean, other guys die. Too many examples, of course. So Coast Guard does that on a regular basis. That's what these guys did. And I asked Rick Barthuli, who's a 22-year-old guy on that ship, I said, what'd you think at the time? He said, we knew it was a dumb idea. And we knew there could be 2 ships in the bottom before we're done. And that's exactly what Cooper tells the Coast Guard. We could double the accident at this point. He said, but we didn't think twice because we knew they would do it for us, and that is the Sailor's Code. And there's a chapter called the Sailor's Code. All the American ships went out, and all the ocean ships stayed in port. Because once again, the Salties learned that the Great Lakes are scarier than the ocean. So those guys are heroes to me.
When you say that a captain of the other ship, you kind of answered this, but I just want to come back on it. You use the term the captain of the other ship was fighting for his life.
Yes.
Did he later describe it like that? I mean, did he feel like he was in a life-death situation?
I should have the thing. I got it on my PDF on my computer. How about that for a non-Fitzgerald response? I can find the exact quote. When the Coast Guard captain tells him to go out, we have his quotes on what he said. Where is that damn thing? It's right there. I'll get it in a second. He said,
"Take your time.
Do you know what the conditions are like out there?" And the guy doesn't answer. And Cooper says again, "Do you know what the conditions are like out there?" And again, he doesn't answer. And I said, he didn't answer, but we can. He had no idea. Because even on shore with 20 footers going over your building on shore, if you weren't out there, you'd have no idea.
Mm-hmm.
And so Cooper knows this guy's asking a lot, and he has no idea what he's asking for. But he didn't even stop and think. I mean, you didn't like it, but you got to go. And these guys are a different breed.
How long were they out there?
About 14 hours, because that's how long it takes to go to make a loop.
Yeah.
And the scary
loaded
part,
with all, but that's the thing that I keep coming back to this, but like loaded with all that iron ore and shit.
yeah, you can't drop it first and go back out. That's part of your problem. I mean, his freeboard
And
is no better than
It's
crazy. The William Clay
You're gonna
Ford,
do what? Like throw some ropes? Like you're gonna try to pull that thing up alongside a life raft?
I guess. And they have in the past. They would try.
And it could, but it
I mean, would
also
it work? I mean, I don't know. That
it
seems
also could be
far-fetched.
as much about like confirming and recovering bodies and
Or you'd find it adrift, I guess.
Yeah. And they found debris. They found the lifeboats.
Hmm.
Those things were steel, not aluminum. Even Arthur Anderson's lifeboat was destroyed by a wave. And Bartholomew described it. It's like taking a pop can, stepping on it, and taking a hacksaw through it. That's what our lifeboat looked like. And again, made of steel, not of aluminum.
Wow.
But what they dreaded, all right, they're going back out in the seas, and it's still bad, and you're smashing into those waves. That's not the scary part. The scary part is the turnaround.
Yeah.
Turnaround, you have to pick the right wave to turn around in to go into the trough.
Yeah.
well, it probably
and
takes
it's-
15 minutes for those things to turn around.
Well, exactly. 15 minutes takes like an hour.
Yeah.
These things are not that, they're 60 miles an
Yeah.
hour, and they're big and slow. So you got to, and I talked to captains about this. It's dark. You can't pick the right wave. It's too dark to see, like you're saying earlier. So just making that turnaround. And Bartholomew, who's not an emotional guy, he said, trust me, when we got back into Whitefish Bay,
The second time.
there's a lot of guys who became very religious. Who had their come to Jesus moment on their way back. So they knew how bad it was. So those guys were impressive. The ocean guys did not go out. As I said earlier, John Hayes had sailed on both, 23 years, the Great Lakes, and 12 on the ocean. He said, the Great Lakes and the ocean, it ain't even close. And anybody who's sailed both will tell you the same thing. The Salties always laughed at us until they got in the Great Lakes. Then they shut up pretty damn fast and started looking for safe harbor. And that night, a half dozen American Canadian ships went out, and all the Salties stayed in Bay. So that's the difference.
Has anything comparable happened since then?
Brody, great question. And by the way, this is the best damn interview I've had.
Should go out to lunch after this.
I admit my ignorance. I admit my ignorance about the MeatEater podcast. I'm not kidding you. I'm getting the best questions. That's been very impressive. So, 6,000 shipwrecks between 1875 and 1975. From November 10th, 1975 to the present, almost exactly 50 years, 0. Not one. So you go from 6,000 in a century to 0 for 50 years. And why is that? Just what you said, Stephen, earlier. Forecasting is better. They're also taking it more seriously. Communication. Don't just know the information. Tell the captain. And tell the captain on a regular basis what they're in for today. So they had more technology back then. And one of my experts said, when do you fix anything? When it's broken. All right, 9/11, we're complacent. We got smart about certain things. But we could have done things then to be smarter, of course. Same thing here. But the biggest change, I believe, since then is simple common sense. The author photo there on the back is me at Whitefish Point. This is November 11th of last year of 2024, the day after the anniversary. I spoke with the families the night before. I'm looking at about 30 or 40 mile per hour winds there. I don't look too happy. About 10-foot waves. Every single ship that day, and my computer program on my phone shows this, every single ship was anchored in Whitefish Bay. And I guarantee you,
In the old days,
not one.
Yeah.
And if you're anchoring, you're fired. You're not going to make it, or ridiculed at least. So wait a day. The next day in the Lake Superior, after the ship went down, it was glass.
oh,
You could have gone out one day later and made up all your time. Straight shot. So that's part of the tragedy. I'll add to the tragedy. Eddie Bindon, 47 years old, first assistant engineer, high in the pecking order, handles the engine. Been married 25 years to the lovely Helen. Her photo's in there. In Cleveland area, more or less. He about to celebrate their 25th anniversary. He's about to retire after this trip as well. He gets from Superior, Wisconsin to Duluth, to the jewelry store, because Superior didn't have one apparently. Gets a very nice 25-year diamond anniversary ring. And for reasons only he knows, he does not pack it in his duffel bag. He's going to see her in 3 days. She's going to be there in the dock. They live 2 hours away. He gives it to a friend and tells his friend to mail this to my wife and gives the address.
that is so wild, though, man.
I cannot explain why he did that, what he thought, any of this. But sure enough, a week later, she gets a ring. She wore it the rest of her life and never remarried. But stories like that, those are the stories that no one's got. So it makes them human beings. That's the most important thing.
Man, did you feel like when you started working on the book, did you feel it necessary to reach out to the family members?
Oh, essential. And it took me about 6 months to a year to get to them. I got lucky. The guy who is the director of the Great Lakes Shipwreck Museum in Whitefish Point,
Yeah.
Bruce Lynn, true class act, former Army captain, square-jawed guy, all this good stuff. He's a big Ohio State fan, but he got his master's degree at Eastern Michigan University in Ypsilanti, so he's hearing me on the radio for years, talking about this stuff and reading my football books and so on, so I already knew me, thank God. He read the Halifax book, and we got along very well. He had the trust of the families. I did not. He was their gatekeeper. He keeps all the wackos and the grifters away from them. But we got along, and he told them to trust me. And without that, the book barely counts, in my opinion. So they trusted me, and that one worked out very well. They loved the book, and I'm grateful for that.
When we say like if I say the families, or if you hear the families, are there still 29 families? There's some like semi-cohesive units, or are some of the families sort of dissolved? And
some have dissolved. Well, Eddie Bindon and his wife, Helen, no kids.
I see.
So there you are. Which is why I feel very good about bringing him.
And she's
deceased also.
Okay, I see.
She was 47 at the time, so at 50.
So there's no in that case, there's no family spokesman.
And 3 or 4 of the cases they're not.
Yeah.
A deckhand who's single. There you go. So in those cases, they ring the bell 29 times every anniversary. My son once rang the bell. He was 8 at the time for Eddie Bindon. And he wore a suit and tie, took it very seriously. He practiced earlier in the day. We have pictures of him walking away, pulling tears, basically. So it's through my son I discovered Eddie Bindon. And then I found a guy, Patrick Devine, who talked to me late in the process. He was very reluctant. Deckhand on the ship 2 months earlier. He was replaced by Bruce Hudson. And he was mad about it at the time.
He was.
It took 10 years to get over survivor's guilt and all this. I mean, he was in a bottle for a while, as he said. He loved Eddie Bindon. Eddie Bindon was his mentor and his boss, and just a great guy, knew his stuff, and was very kind to him and protected him. So now Eddie Bindon, we'll know about Eddie Bindon now at least. So I got to give you another one. Bruce Hudson, I told you that his girlfriend is pregnant. Ruth Hudson loses her only child. And my wife, I'm a late starter. I got a 10-year-old kid. My wife has assured me I've got an only child. She was very clear on this. You've got 2, and you know who the gatekeeper is.
I got 3.
Well, there you go. Yeah. Who decided that? Not you.
Well, we didn't even intend to do that.
Well, then no one decided that. There are accidents and there are accidents. We can talk about that another time. But anyway,
just to clarify, that was our best accident.
There you go.
No. It was a genius moment.
The third one, by the way, the trailers, we call them. Everyone always says that. Worth the price of admission right there. But so Ruth Hudson, she finds out she's 4'9", and her niece...
Hold on, back up. This is not the girlfriend. This is his mother.
No, sorry.
Bruce Hudson's mother, Ruth.
Thank you for the clarity.
She has one child.
One child.
Okay.
She had one child. Her niece saw her every day, Pam Wittig, in the same neighborhood. She's been great to me, and thanks for the clarification. So Ruth Hudson, she's 4'9", but she tells you that she's 5'5", and you believed her, apparently. She was a little spark plug, just full of energy and all this. The company called nobody. She finds out the next day, driving to her job at the Bonnie Bell Cosmetic Factory in Cleveland, on the radio.
What?
Yeah, this is brutal. This is cruel.
This is before the time of like contacting next of kin before you announce.
No, it was not. You should have contacted them immediately. This is 1975.
Yeah.
The company did not do what it's supposed to do. So Dennis Anderson, Channel 10 in Duluth, WTOL, Channel 11 in Toledo. That's how these people find out. And neighbors find out, and they knock on your door at 10 o'clock at night and tell you that your dad's ship is gone.
Oh my
Just brutal. So she finds out like that, and she thinks, I've lost my family. This is, we're a couple with one child. She finds out 6 months later that she's going to be a grandmother.
6 months later?
The
person never thought to make the connections.
The 17-year-old girl at the time, 20-year-old guy, 17-year-old girl, which back then was not that uncommon. She didn't tell her parents that she was pregnant. She didn't start showing until like month 8. That's when she calls Ruth Hudson, and that's a tough phone call. And Ruth at first thought, why are you telling me? She goes, I'm not asking for anything. I think you should know that you're going to be a grandmother. And she has Heather, and Ruth and Heather are very close. They went shopping together and so on.
What?
Heather has 4 kids. And the oldest is Austin, now 25, who looks just like Bruce Hudson, apparently. Oh, wow. And yes, Aunt Ruth played favorites. She lost her son, and she gains a grandson who looks just like him. It's pretty amazing. So,
wow.
I know these stories go on like this. I got to tell you one more.
It's like just to
sure.
you're right, like putting the names to it. You know what I mean? Like you never think that you'd run into a dude who's like, no, I lost my father on the Edmund Fitzgerald. It's just like they're chimes, they're church bell chimes.
It's a song to us.
Yeah.
It's a song.
They're
And,
church bell chimes.
we don't know anything else. I didn't know a single name.
Church bell chime till it rang 29 times.
That's right. And now they ring it 30 times for all the other accidents as well. And so do the families. But yeah, I mentioned earlier, maybe I didn't. The last words, of course, McSorley, I did mention that. We are holding our own. So Heidi Wilhelm is a 12-year-old girl at the time. She's the youngest of 7 kids, and all 7 kids depend on one guy on their ship. And because the mom's raising 7 kids, she's working her butt off too. Next door neighbor knocks on the door, says your dad's ship is gone. So her mom's on the phone trying to get anyone to answer. No one does at the company, and they never called.
Wow.
What do you do? And the insurance companies didn't pay in many cases because it's an act of God. You got some Social Security in most cases.
Like it's like inherent vice or something. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Inherent vice. There you go. Your legal degree is also paying off today. And the company paid the minimum that they had to, basically. Maybe a year's salary. Well, what does that get you with 7 kids?
Yeah.
And she said, what do? You do what we always do in the Midwest. You suck it up. We're all gonna get jobs. We're all gonna start working. They pulled through. They joined the military. They often went to the then very cheap state schools. They're not so cheap anymore. They raised kids. They often did a combination. Heidi's now 62. She's got a daughter, Sarah. She went to the Air Force. Her daughter, Sarah's also in the Air Force. And Sarah was born on the 23rd anniversary of the sinking, November 10th, 1998. The grandfather that you would never meet, obviously, and a really great guy by all accounts. When she turns 21, this is 6 years ago, on November 10th, 2019, she gets a tattoo. And we're hanging out at Whitefish Point, a table kind of like this, butcher block table in the crew's quarters for where these people stay when they're in town. We're having some beers, we're telling some stories. This is where I got to know these people. And this is where I get choked up. And at this point, Heidi says, Sarah's got a tattoo. Sarah, show John your tattoo. And she pulls up her left sleeve and her hoodie. And it says, we are holding our own.
Oh, man.
And that's what these people do. And it's gotten me too, Corinne. So
Yeah.
that's how.
Well, that's incredible.
That's who these people were. And I guess one of the points is they were heroes before the ship went down. Your steel, your food, all this stuff. It's these guys. So the
Man, that's incredible.
So
is it? I was telling my little boy this, and I realized maybe it didn't happen, but I think it did. They lifted the bell from the ship.
They did.
And that's in the museum. And then they took another bell and engraved it with the names and put it back. And then when Gordon Lightfoot died, did they put his name on the bell?
They didn't put his name on the bell, but they did at Mariners Church.
Okay.
They added it there. They rang the bell for him when he died. And that's no small trick, by the way. You need special welding tools. You got an underwater welder who knows what he's doing. That bell is heavy. It's brass, man.
Yeah.
So bring that up 530 feet. The family was there the next boat over when they brought the bell up.
Yeah.
That was an emotional moment, July 4th.
Yeah, I've seen that stuff from that.
And they put the other bell down there.
And there's no, like, from what you know, there's been, like you didn't experience any kind of concerted pushback from families not wanting you to tell this story and investigate individuals. Were some people unhappy?
Not with me.
Okay.
And so far, knock on wood, this is for Mike or whatever you got. That's wood.
I never
This is a
thought
real
about
thing.
it. It's a composite.
No,
I think it's bamboo.
I involve the families and also do something that most journalists don't. If I'm talking to Brody or Steven, I say, we're going to talk freely. I'll send you your quotes. You'll fix them as we need to. You have a right, I believe, to be quoted accurately.
Yep.
And that way you build trust, certainly.
Yeah,
It takes longer, but you always get more than you think that way. Once they realize where you're going, people will usually own their opinions. It's being misquoted that I fear. I get misquoted. You get misquoted. I'm sure of it.
Dude, it's to the point where, like, it's painful to participate.
Why am I doing this?
It's painful to participate in anything with journalists.
And
I got friends that don't.
I can't blame you in many cases. And I'm a journalist.
Mm-hmm.
Why? Because they're 25-year-old kids who, budget cuts.
Because they already know, like, dude, they already know what they want you to say.
That's the crap I hate.
They need the quote. They need a thing, and then they call you for the thing, and you say, you know what? There's so much more to it. Let me explain.
They don't want that.
And then you're like, here's the thing you want, but you really need to understand, and then it's just the thing they want.
I've seen it in hockey locker rooms and football locker rooms. Exactly. Asked the guy the same question 3 or 4 times.
Mm-hmm.
And I hate that kind of journalism. One of my bosses once asked me, I was doing a story on the Potawatomi tribe basketball team in Escanaba, Michigan. They played away games on Beaver Island and Mackinac Island because the casinos, they had a little plane. So this is pretty cool. And my guy asked me, my editor said, well, what's your angle? I said, I got no idea. I haven't met anybody. I've not seen the place. I don't know what the hell I'm talking about. I got a lot of questions. All right. I have no idea. So you go, and that's what you guys did here in this interview. You go where the interview goes. Don't just have your questions and force it.
Right.
You get crappy interviews.
Mm-hmm.
You want a conversation. It's exactly what you guys are doing here. And yes, so I get nervous about that. So with these guys, I mean, we talked 10, 15, 20 times.
Yeah.
And to make sure that any scene involving them was accurate. And it's also scary how many things I'm talking to you, I'm writing it down. Things I got wrong, or maybe they said them wrong, but I probably got it wrong.
Yeah.
I mean, you cover yourself that way. If some jackass in California says your book sucks on Amazon, I'm not happy about it, but it's going to happen. It already has. We're getting 4.7, but there's always a jackass in California.
He's always out there.
We know that guy.
Yeah, exactly. Who knows more about the book than I do. So, all right, pal, whatever. And didn't sign his name, naturally. He's pretty tough until it's time to sign your name, but whatever. Keyboard cowards, as we call them. But what I can have is somebody who's in the book telling me I got it wrong. If I did a book on your podcast, all right, you know what I can't have happen is Corinne says you got it wrong. You say I got it wrong. Then I got it wrong. So I've never in 14 books had anyone say misquoted, out of context, inaccurate, any of that. So these are the people, and I'm not trying to pander to them in writing the book. I mean, there are still tough things in the book, no question about it. But it's accurate and it's fair. And those people, I mean, they trusted me, and I appreciate it. Without them, it's not a book.
Did they feel like I mean, I assume that their feelings over time changed, throughout the writing process, but did they feel like they'd never had a voice before? I mean, that's
really good,
because it is one of these things where it's a line in a song to most people.
Right.
And I imagine it's tough to open up about tragedy, but at the same time, like, this story hasn't been, their story hasn't been told. And so there's sort of a tension there between.
That's well said and good insight. 6 crew members who'd never been talked to before, who'd been on the ship beforehand. Half the families I got to. Of the 29, 14 have some voice in here. And they did kind of say that we've been holding our stories back because we're afraid it'll get screwed up. And this is, I mean, I interview, rich, famous athletes and coaches. They get quoted all the time. They don't care all that much. And it's irritating to you and me a little bit, but so what? I'll get over it. This is their one chance. These are people who are not rich, not famous, and this is their one chance to tell their dad's story in many cases. So yes, there was, and the grifters have come and gone. Bruce Lynn, again, is my key there. And now we got to know them. I've known them for 3.5 years now. So now when I see them in Milwaukee or Grand Rapids, Michigan, or whatever, I get big hugs and they're crying and all this. So that's how that one works. So
you mentioned, like, we wouldn't be sitting here if were it not for the song.
Yes, no question.
And later on, you mentioned there was like some local news coverage. What was like the national awareness of this thing when it happened?
That surprised me, actually. And there's far more than I thought.
Oh, okay.
And
it was a national news story.
Yeah, and I wasn't sure about that when you pitch a book proposal to New York, by the way. I spent 6 months on this one. That's unusually long, usually about 2 months. You write about 50 pages. You send it out there. You're kind of like a geologist telling Shell Oil, I swear to God, there's oil in my land. I swear to God. Just give me some money and I'll
You got to show them what the Times said about it.
Exactly right. Exactly. So then they call your bluff and say, you know what? Here's some money. Go find the oil. And you go, oh crap, there better be oil down there. And I kept on getting lucky, more luck. I'm working out not recently, obviously, it's shame on me, not enough hockey these days, but I'm working out about a year and a half ago or so. And a buddy of mine, Larry Lage, who does Associated Press for the state of Michigan, covers all sports. We've been friends forever. And he says, Harry Atkins wrote the first story on the Edmund Fitzgerald. Harry Atkins had his job doing sports before him. 30 years AP sports writer. I've been sitting next to Harry in the damn press box for decades. I had no idea.
Wow.
Really?
He goes up that night with a crazy photographer. They get a plane in the wind. They do all this, and he does a wonderful job.
Oh my God.
And he still had a copy. He's still alive. He's 84. He's still sharp. He gave me an original copy, computer printout of that thing from 75. And without a cell phone, without internet,
It
this
was
guy
like picked up
nailed
on the
it.
wires and
6,500 newspapers around the world,
you're shitting me.
including L.A., where Lightfoot was that day, or the next day, whatever. He gets that. Newsweek magazine picks it up 2 weeks later, and he does a beautiful job. His name is Jim Gaines. He went to the University of Michigan. We got mutual friends in common. He's still alive. He's still sharp, lucky as hell. And his story was so good that 5 or 6 lines in the song are from his article, which I lay out in the two articles, 2 chapters that are now in the Rolling Stone. Let's do the damn song. We might as well do it now. You got to ask about the song, people, obviously. So Gordon Lightfoot is an experienced sailor. He did the Port Huron to Mackinac race. I've done that race. It's like 3 days. It's brutal. You think it's, let's go sailing. Nah. It's freezing. You're cold. It's miserable. But he's a really good sailor, and he's serious about it. On November 10th, 1975, Monday night, he is working on a song in his attic in Toronto. And it's an Irish sea shanty, the earliest song he can remember when he's 3.5 years old, and he's obviously changing it. But he's working on this. He goes down to get some coffee. It's 10 o'clock at night, and the wind is howling in Toronto also. And he said he had the explicit thought, it must be hell on Superior tonight. He was connected at that moment. I mean, he knew what these guys are going through.
Yeah.
That's where the spirit comes from. He starts working on the song, doesn't play it for anybody. He's too self-conscious. The reason I was, a lot of ways to screw this up. Remember Body Heat, by the way, if you've not seen this movie, people, go see it. It's like 40 years old now. It launched Kathleen Turner and Mickey Rourke and William Hurt. And at some point, William Hurt's character, a lawyer, wants to blow up his girlfriend's husband. Bad idea. And one of his repeat felon bombers basically is teaching him how to do it. And finally, Mickey Rourke says, hey, man, do you have any effing idea? I can probably swear on your thing, can't I?
You're fine.
There you go. Do you have any effing idea what the hell you're doing? Because if you're a genius, you can think of 50 ways it can go wrong, and you ain't an effing genius. You can think of 25. And that's how I felt about the book. There are 50 ways to screw this up, and I might be able to think of 25.
Yeah.
So, and that's how he felt, and I knew exactly how he felt.
He made one mistake.
He made a couple mistakes.
He made a couple mistakes. There's some there's some like assumptions about what the cook said, and he says, and he couldn't do Toledo.
Right. Toledo
left fully loaded for Cleveland because he couldn't get
fits
it.
and Toledo doesn't.
Yeah, couldn't make Toledo.
So that
fit.
was artistic license on that one. But everything else, I mean, 26,000 tons, all this stuff.
The ship was the pride of the American side. I didn't know that was actually I didn't know that was actually a nickname for the Edmund.
Absolutely. And these guys, the guys I talked to, the sailors, they said this guy nailed it. The family say that he nailed it.
And his description of the lakes, like, because I grew up on Lake Michigan steams like a young man's dreams.
The islands and bays are for sportsmen. And they are. That's where you learn how to fish, right? I mean, in Muskegon Bay and all that. So,
what was the family's reception to the song?
Well, before that, so he's going to record his new album in March of '76, about 5 months later. And they got 11 songs lined up. Not this one. This one he's convinced is not ready. He's not played it for anybody. So, but each day after they do their songs, he's screwing around with this on his guitar. They're a tight band. After 3.5 days, they got 5 days rented in the studio. 3.5 days, they're done, and that's how tight they are. And he says, "Okay, gentlemen, good job. Let's go." They're literally packing up their guitars and their instruments. And then the producer on the PA says, "Why don't you try that song you've been screwing around with?" And he says, "It's not ready. It's not ready. It's not ready." And he says, "Look, dude, I'm charging you for 5 days whether you play a damn thing or not. So I'm here now. The band is here. Why not give it a shot?" So he gets talked into it. And he finally says, "Okay." So he asks him to turn the lights down, and he's quiet for like a minute. The drummer, Barry Keane, still alive. And so is the bass player. God bless them both. He's there. He says, "What do you want me to do?" He's never heard the song. He says, "When I want you to come in, I'll give you a nod." Okay. So he's going 1:30 on the song. That's where songs end in 75, 76. And Barry thinks that, okay, you've forgotten all about me. Nope. At 1:34, he leans over, he looks over and gives him a nod. That's when he comes in with the thunder and lightning. You know that part. And he just makes it up in the spot. And they just keep going. After 6.5 minutes, which is 3 times longer than a normal song, they finish and they go, that wasn't half bad. But he's a perfectionist. Lightfoot is. So let's try it again. Not as good. Try it again. Not as good. 3 more times, 4 more times that afternoon. They come back the next day just for this one song. Not as good, not as good, not as good, all day long. And finally, they pick the song you hear on the radio is not a first take. The song you hear on the radio is the first time the band ever played it. And as Barry Keane, he's
Could
been
never hit that emotion again, man.
You guys are brilliant. That's exactly it. Barry Keane, he's been on 500 albums for all kinds of guys.
Did you ever hear the Dandy Warhols cover it? It's pretty terrible.
Yes, I have. And Billy Strings, by the way. Billy Strings got a new version out from Traverse City, Michigan. He does a brilliant job.
He does?
The
Dandy Warhols kind of phoned it in a little bit.
Yeah.
They were big drug takers.
All I can say about that was throw a stick. So was Gordon Lightfoot.
Yeah, he had a little problem with the bottle.
He got clean around 1980 or 81. Yeah. So
that's when the Dandy Warhols were getting born.
There you go. But probably true too. We're around that. So Barry Keane tells me, look, man, first takes happen once in a blue moon. First time he ever played it, he goes, never, ever, ever, ever. He said, I'm willing to bet never in the history of rock and roll recording. And I asked him, why? And exactly where you're going, Stephen. He said, this is not a song you think your way through. This is a song you either feel it or you don't. Yeah. If you feel it, the technical stuff doesn't matter. If you feel it, that's the spirit they got to hear. So song comes out. They're on the midnight special, the old Friday night concert show. You're allowed to play 6 songs. And they don't pick this one because they think there's no way in hell this is going to work. And this song ends up being number 2 in 1976 behind Rod Stewart's Tonight's the Night, with his hot Swedish girlfriend, Britt Eklund, cooing in the background. That's the 70s, man. That's the me generation. This song is the opposite. It's got
he's got a couple good cuts though, man.
Oh, there's no question.
Rod Stewart, Reason to Believe. Come on,
yeah.
man.
And then when you get the mandolin and all that, that's good stuff. But the point is this song never
Mandolin
showed.
Wind?
Yeah, exactly. He snarled at that one.
No,
listen,
it's
I'm
fine.
a Maggie May guy.
It's fine.
There you go. That's the mandolin, I guess, something like that. But anyway. But the families, they played at all the reunions. They played for the grandkids who never met their grandfathers.
Oh, they do?
Yeah.
Wow.
And Cindy Reynolds, the mother of Bruce Hudson's child, she said, to this day, if it comes on the radio, I pull off and I cry.
Really?
And that's your best review right there. And Lightfoot became great friends of the families. He's a hero in this book. He's given money for scholarships in Traverse City for the Great Lakes Maritime Museum.
I saw him play in Traverse City once.
There you go. Scholarships in his name. The Maritime Academy. Ruth Hudson is on her deathbed on November 9th, 2015.
November 9th.
Yes, this is the day before the 40th anniversary.
Yeah.
And Gordon Lightfoot goes to Whitefish Point not to play, just to pay his respects to these handful of families. That's what, way out of the way, obviously. And he asked Pam, where's Aunt Ruth? And she's on her deathbed. Give me a phone. And that picture's in the book of him in the kitchen on the phone talking to Ruth Hudson on her deathbed. And she said, I promised Bruce I would be in heaven with him for the 40th anniversary. He's been alone too long. And that was her last phone call.
Oh.
And she gets off the phone and tells the mom, she's the child, she said, I was talking to Gordon. Because that's how close they were. So he's a hero in this book.
Man, I got to just hit you with something totally unrelated, but a little bit kind of similar. You know, in Neil Young's Old Man, The Pedal Steel?
It's in the book. Because David Cowboy Weiss was on a date with another Cindy, and they're playing Neil Young's one of his albums, and that song is on it.
Oh.
Old Man.
So they had a studio guy come in to do the pedal steel on Old Man.
Which is great.
Well, he just was warming up, and they had some tracks of him warming up, and that's what they plugged into the tune. And my understanding, I could be wrong, they don't know who the hell it was.
Wow.
I don't know if that's true.
But trust me, the stories are about the 70s and rock and roll. Yeah, it was true.
What are you going to write next? You know yet?
I don't know yet. There's a few good options out there.
You come work for me and Randall.
We're in need of a writer.
All I can say is careful what you wish for.
Randall's burned out on history.
Careful what you wish for.
Randall's got a history project.
As long as you maintain the compliments, you know.
Hey, they're easily proffered. Trust me. Look, you know very quick when people know what they're talking about when they don't, when you do these things. And it's like when people call up you, have you ever heard my podcast or not? You can tell pretty quickly. So you guys, man, I never had an interview like this. 20 terms, not defined at this table.
No.
I have to explain everything normally. So.
But what kind of book are you going to do next? Sports?
No, not sports. Probably do, there are a few other Midwestern disasters, sadly. that I know about that I'll probably dive back into those. This one, we're dealing with movie rights now. We'll talk about that.
Sure, man.
Hal,
I was going to ask you that, but then I didn't ask.
Yeah.
I get too jealous.
well, there you go. Well, don't get jealous yet. Trust me.
Okay.
And plus, I'm
Let
not
me
gonna,
know. Text me when I should get jealous.
I'll let you know.
just text me a J. I know what it means.
Dude, Jay. Sit with that for a little while. As they say it in Casablanca, Humphrey Bogart, that could be the start of a great friendship.
Yeah.
It's a classic ending scene. So
A Midwest disaster, but you don't want to wind up that they're like, the great Midwestern disaster writer.
yeah, exactly. You don't want to be that guy, right? Oh no, bacon's coming. This is something bad. You don't want
stay
that.
away from that
right,
guy.
Exactly.
You
That's
don't want
not
to wind up in one of his books.
So that's a possibility. The Great Halifax Explosion. We're talking to Hollywood about that for a possible 5-part TV series.
Oh, okay.
Previous book, Let Them Lead, about coaching my old high school hockey team in Ann Arbor, the Ann Arbor Huron River Rats. I'm not making that up. For some reason, we're the only high school in America named their team the River Rats. Go figure on that one.
That's a good one.
So,
it is.
but worst team in America, coached by the worst player in school history, yours truly. I still hold the record for the most games in a Huron uniform, 86. I played all 3 years, played in every game. With the fewest goals, 0. And I played forward.
So you're gonna do a book like How I Did It.
No, we did that book.
Yeah.
It's in its 5th printing, but we're in our 3rd draft with Disney Plus.
It's another
And a screenplay.
Midwestern disaster
So,
story.
and Muskegon's in it. And Muskegon makes an appearance. So yes, so doing all that stuff first, then I'll get back to a book.
So
But,
like disasters like the Edmund Fitzgerald or your hockey
oh,
career.
my hockey team, my hockey career. It's a family record. Actually, I hold it up to my brother. He was also on the team. He also failed to score. I'm going to throw his ass under the bus right now. He likes to point out that he played goalie, but
Yeah.
hey, we all got problems, so he didn't score a goal either.
Well, if you have any
Technicality.
say in the casting for this, and they're looking for a Bruce Hudson type,
You're
Yeah.
thinking
let me know.
Randall's the guy.
Yeah, I'll make
Yeah.
it.
You can see how buff Bruce
Get
was,
it-
by the way.
get
He
it
said to
my,
send Randall, instead of sending me 1 letter, send him 2, and it's no hot dogs.
Yeah,
And H.
You're on a
And
strict
he'll know to get ready.
NH 12 months.
Good news and bad news. Good news is you got the part.
Bad news is,
Yeah, well-
let me remind you what Bruce looked like.
It might
I
result
will
in
have
some
to keep
lifestyle
growing
change.
the hair out.
Yeah,
much
there's
to,
more.
much
be
to
like,
Sydney's dismay.
Randall, there's more to it than the hair, buddy.
Yeah.
And I don't mean to make light of Bruce Hudson, obviously, but Pam did say she's about 4 or 5 years younger than Bruce, her cousin, and she saw him every day. She said whenever Bruce came over, all her little 12-year-old girlfriends all came over too. So
Listen,
considered pretty hunky.
I'm very comfortable in
with your sexuality, where
just
you going with this
where
one?
I landed. I'm very comfortable. Bruce is a striking man.
He is
Yeah.
a striking man.
He's a
Good-looking dude.
striking man. Yeah.
And his old girlfriend said the same thing.
That, him, the photo of the guys at the wedding, it's heartbreaking.
Yeah.
They're human
I've
beings, man.
never seen the pictures, man. I don't get it. Well, I do
It's
get
tough.
it, but I mean, it's just like anything. You just put, and you're like, shit, man. These are like guys. Like it looks like pictures of like
Well,
just people from around when I was growing up.
I was going to
you
say
know?
my parents were born on either end in 1950 by a couple years, and this just looks like every photo that they have from their
Exactly
young
right.
adults.
Looks like any
Yeah,
wedding
like
photo.
a wedding that they went to.
That's
Yeah.
exactly, and they're old Kodak photos,
Mhm.
Yeah.
little grainy.
It was back in that era. Those weddings would have been when you would take
Oh,
those little mints and cocktail peanuts and tie them up in a spawn sack
Yeah.
and had a dollar dance.
there's a classic for you.
Yeah, it's
We
just
got
stuff that
a
hasn't
photo of
happened anymore, man.
some of these guys at a wedding, probably the second batch of photos. And yeah, the guy's best man went down with a ship, and that's what happened. So as far as Hollywood goes, don't be too jealous yet. So the guy I'm writing the hockey story with, Jim Bernstein, he did Mighty Ducks, he did Renaissance Man, some others. And I've done about, I don't know, 7 or 8 trips now to Hollywood for various books. These Hollywood meetings, have you had Hollywood meetings yet?
Let's have another podcast discussion about this sometime.
Oh, but you're not bitter. But anyway.
No. It's like early on, it would be that here's people that aren't, they're kind of like, they'd come in and mine you for what's going on in your neck of the woods.
They want your knowledge without paying you.
Because they're not out and about, and they're like, so what kind of things are you interested in? And you'd be like, oh, did you know about this? Did you know about that? Did you know about this? Did you know about that? And then later you learn just to shut up.
Right? You just fork over the store, basically. So these meetings in Hollywood are kabuki theater. So They
Another
always
term that probably has not been used in this
Well, maybe not.
studio
There you
here.
go.
here
I got
before.
this is the first term. I don't know what it meant.
Perineum and
it means it's
kabuki theater.
It's all been rehearsed.
Okay.
It's like you think you're doing a pitch, but you're really not. So they always meetings at 10 o'clock. The earliest going to be is 10:05, maybe 10:10. How late they make you wait is one indicator. Who shows up? Martin Campbell showed up for one of my meetings. He's the director of Casino Royale and Zorro. Okay, that's a big boy meeting. Or the intern, right? And the quality of the water they give you. If they give you the fancy, the best bottled stuff, that's one thing. If the intern's giving you a styrofoam cup of tap water, you're just practicing.
What about a middle ground, like a
You're
pint
already-
glass?
We gave you a nice glass of tap water.
You're not Hollywood, baby. I'm in Montana. I am in Bozeman, Montana. So Bernstein told me they said they liked it, they hated it. They say they loved it, they liked it. If they actually paid you, they loved it. There's not 1 ounce of Hollywood, 1 ounce of love in Hollywood until the check clears. If you guys say, let's do lunch, we eat. There's actual food. That's just BS in Hollywood. It's how you say goodbye.
I believe that this. I don't even want to say the name, but I have to because he's such a controversial character.
Here we go.
The Congress is Schiff a senator or a congressman from California? Adam Schiff.
He's a senator now from California, I believe.
Okay.
Yeah.
He was a screenwriter. Did you know that?
I did not know that.
He had written some screenplays. I think that it was Schiff. I'm
Hey,
sure it was Schiff.
back it up. I've written some screenplay. Don't make me a damn screenwriter.
I know it was Schiff. Adam Schiff had a quote from his old days.
Yeah.
He said,
I had no idea.
there are two answers in Hollywood. Yes, and here's a check.
How about this? I keep getting yes.
You never go to a meeting and you get done with the meeting, they go, no.
We love it. This is great.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Oh, we're going to get a hold of you.
We'll call you.
Yeah, this is the last. We're going to end the podcast. I'm going to give this last bit of advice. This is career advice for people. If you get into this world, this business, books and all that, and you do Hollywood meetings, here's how you end them. Well, let me preface this. Last night, my boy had to call my buddy to ask a favor. I said to him, I'm going to give you a pointer. I want you to ask the favor. I don't want you to push for an answer. I want you to then say,
think about it.
Give it some thought and text me. And I said, that's how I want you to end the call. Okay? You're not after an answer. Give it some thought and text me. When you have a Hollywood meeting, end it by saying, thanks for the time. Here's what I'd like you to do. Get with your guys, think about it, and just give me a shout. And that's it.
You know what?
That's it. Because it saves them going like, oh, it's fantastic. We're so excited. Do you know what I mean?
Pardon me.
Yeah.
Perhaps you've seen that gesture before somewhere.
I did that the other day.
Is that thing on right there? Well,
And
Bruce,
just leave it. Leave it. You think about it. Get with your guys. Just let me know.
I'll tell you
That's
what.
how I'm going to end my next performance review here, I think.
You know what? This is how I think I've done. You think about that. I'll tell you what. I'm doing it
Reach
my
back
way.
out when you're ready,
That's right. Next year, the year after that. Don't rush yourself.
Yep.
In this
And then
case.
you hang up and it just never happens.
Not looking for a snap judgment.
And that way, you've maintained your own dignity at least.
Oh,
Yeah.
I'll tell you what. I'm 0-20 my way. I might as well try it your way.
Your way is like, sign this. Sign this. This
No,
says
my
we're
way
good.
is-
This says
So
we're
what do
good.
you think? Oh,
All
we
right.
love it. We love it. No, you don't.
All right,
So-
ladies and gentlemen, The Gales of November, The Untold Story of the Edmund Fitzgerald by John U. Bacon. New York Times best-selling author. Dude, that was a lot of fun. I'm glad you came. It's such a...
Dude.
I can't wait to read it. I'm in a
By the
little
way-
streak where I'm talking to writers that haven't read their damn books yet, but I'm a little behind on my...
Yeah,
on
but you
some
know what you're
reading.
talking about. That's all I care about. That's big. And like I said
Well,
earlier,
I've been
people don't
thinking about that
people,
shit.
You don't have to read my book. You got to buy it.
Yeah.
The buying is
Yeah.
the key.
Yeah, buy that
I'm
book.
joking, of course, but it's about the families. No, this has been, I swear to God, probably the best interview I've done so far.
You know, when you feel the book, it feels good, man.
It's a heavy book. It's
like it feels
not
like
too long.
much like Hampton Sides blurbed your book, you should blurb this podcast.
I tell you what, I'd be happy to give you a shockingly good endorsement from a guy who doesn't hunt or fish. So,
No, you just feel that son of a bitch.
I don't know what the hell
feels
they're talking
good.
about normally, but when I'm on, they were great. So,
Thank you so much
everyone
for
says
coming
I got to
on.
do it, and they're right. This has been fantastic.
When you get another, whatever you do for your next book, just check with me and make sure it fits.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
We can wedge a lot in. There's
that's my
certain things we're
first-
not going to be able to wedge in. Even if I'm interested. Like if you do a book about the mob or something, I'll be
Right.
like, that's cool, but I can't wedge it in.
right.
But this has got like bad weather, ships,
Bad weather, ships, sailors, all that good stuff.
yeah.
Mhm.
Fetch, Lee.
See, freeboard, things I did not explain. Broadside waves. I mean,
Yeah.
I can get 10.
I don't
20
need
things.
this book. I don't need to wedge it in. I can put this book in like this. That's how it fits.
Ooh.
Right in the strike
Yeah.
zone.
Sideways.
So-
75 feet wide.
There you go. That's right. And it's johnnubacon.com is the website. Book tours on there, all that stuff.
Oh, I got one last tip for you.
Sure.
When you talk to, you know what they should have done?
Mm.
They should have made this book the proportions. So it's like a big,
Yeah.
tall,
So it's-
skinny
I've
book.
heard that's the next
There you
trend
go.
in book publishing.
It's
It's just
2 feet
novelty
long, it's
proportions.
2.5 inches
Yeah,
wide.
a big, tall, skinny
That's right.
book, man. That
Why?
would've been a
It gets
real
your
seller.
attention, doesn't it, people? Well, let me explain.
They ship it in the gun. They
No.
ship it in the gun box.
That's right. Take that book into a bathtub. No, follow me here.
Turn that thing around.
Right.
John U. Bacon, thanks again, man.
Thank you.
Appreciate
a real
it.
pleasure, truly.